Well, it's now 2026, which means it's been 1 year since my first ever top 10 worst commercials list. That list detailed the worst commercials, in my opinion, of 2024. And if you can believe it, advertisers did not figure out how to make less annoying, less frustrating, and less strange ads in the year 2025. There are some new trends, some distinctions, but the awfulness still remains, plaguing our televisions and phones and smart fridges. We live in hell, and hell has ad breaks. Once again, most of my television watching occurred during sporting events, mainly football, and I kept a list of the ads that frustrated me the most throughout the year. But before we wade in the misery of late-stage capitalism together, a service that you, ironically, are paying for, I have to unfortunately give a disclaimer. Let me be clear. My own morality is not the sole or even primary system that I am basing this list off of. I know there are ads from Coca-Cola and Deal Dash and a bunch of other criminals that are entirely generated by artificial intelligence. In my opinion, these are worse than the worst ads made by humans, but I find no joy in focusing on these. This list is not going to be filled with AI ads, or ads for gambling, or ads for drugs. This is a list of the commercials that I hated the most that I find at least a little bit interesting to discuss. So yes, the worst commercials of 2025 are certainly the ones made entirely by big tech's plagiarism machines. But my worst commercials are the ones that I think you might enjoy hearing me rant about. So with that said, here are my worst commercials of 2025.
Chat, how are we feeling about the pancakes?
Pretty mid.
You know what's mid, Bree? Your aura.
Or that they make your butt look amazing.
Indiana gonna win, baby!
During G Adventures,
Liberty Mutual customizes.
Wait, am I in one of those Liberty Mutual commercials where they stand in front of the Statue of Liberty and talk about how Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need? What happens in this one?
Seagulls.
Oh, I like it. How are you doing?
Number 10, Mint Mobile with Ryan Reynolds. So we're going to start off the list with a bit of controversy for a couple reasons. For one, this series of ads with Mint Mobile spokesperson and stakeholder Ryan Reynolds has been going on for some time. These are not exclusive to 2025, and to be honest, the 2025 versions don't bother me any more or less than the ones that came before it. So it's controversial to put it on a list of the 2025's worst commercials when this is an ongoing campaign that just generally bothers me. But I didn't talk about them last year, so they're here. The other reason this could be controversial is because, at least according to YouTube and Reddit comments, these are hilarious, and this is exactly how all commercials should be always. And I might be in the minority when I say I absolutely despise this ad campaign. So if you don't know, Ryan Reynolds is an actor. He plays Deadpool, and in other movies, he plays Deadpool. He's also a businessman. He owns a football club and makes a documentary series about it. He does other things, I'm sure, and one of them must be Mint Mobile. He has an ownership stake in Mint Mobile, so this is one of the owners of Mint Mobile, which is unique for a spokesperson. These commercials carry over the Ryan Reynolds flair from every project he's in. It's a vibe that is, I'm going to use some derogatory adjectives, and if you're a big fan of Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool, please forgive me, and maybe you'll just agree with us and say that's fine, I like it. That's kind of what I assume. It's smarmy, it's snarky, it's self-aware, it's meta. All of these are kind of coalesce into Deadpool, the Deadpool vibe, and the Ryan Reynolds extended universe vibe. Pretty much everything he does, he has this I'm one step ahead of the game, I'm breaking the fourth wall, which is Deadpool's thing, and that he helped develop and also has adopted, or maybe he more adopted it than he developed it. The origin of all of this is very strange to me. I will be honest about my relationship with Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. I don't know a lot of Ryan Reynolds films that I've seen. I don't know a lot of roles that I've particularly liked him in. I enjoyed the first Deadpool. I thought it was funny. I thought at the time it was subversive and was interesting. The second one, it it was okay. I liked it. Some of it was funny, some of it started to get grating. And I did not see the third one because I felt like I did see the third one because of the marketing blitz for it. Just the extension of Deadpool into pretty much every aspect of the Walt Disney Company. They're trying to wink at it, but it frankly doesn't really work for me. In general though, Ryan Reynolds is not my cup of tea. I love meta humor, but it feels like meta humor always 10 years too late. It feels like this constant, like Abed from Community, except for he's also wanting to be sexy and like, or cool or condescending about it. It just doesn't, something about it is grating. I know I'm not alone in this, but I feel like when you enter the world of Mint Mobile, all of this kind of like, oh, Ryan Reynolds is grating or I don't like him, it fades away because Mint Mobile, these ads apparently, I'm just reading through the YouTube comments on one of these from a year ago. This one's called Mint Mobile's Explicitly Premium Wireless. The top comment, YouTube tries to force me to watch ads, but Ryan gets me to watch them willingly. I can never seem to be able to skip ads on this channel. Deadpool is advertising Mint Mobile as Ryan Reynolds with maximum effort. I love Ryan, bro. He's genuinely the only person that can get me to enjoy watching commercials. So in a way, this is really controversial. But in another way, what a great intro. Because it's like me, I'm kind of going out on a limb. So this one's from 5 years ago. But essentially, this is what I dislike about these.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile. It's the holidays and the big wireless companies are busy spending billions on advertising. At Mint, we're not into wasting money. So we bought this spiffy stock footage for $500. Our footage also came with another hand, so we can let you know if you switch to Mint, you'll get 3 months free on all of our plans, even unlimited. Feels like that deserves an exclamation point. Whoa, easy. Easy.
The reason I dislike this, I'm trying to put some logic to why I just dislike the energy, and maybe I'm just a curmudgeon, and that's fine. I mean, the top comment, 6.5 thousand. God, I love how self-aware this man is. These ads are the only ones I'll watch voluntarily. The fact that this got recommended to me instead of it being an actual ad on YouTube. Ads that somehow gain my respect, not lose my respect. Ryan is at it again. The one ad I actually clicked on and didn't skip. Okay, so that's basically the vibe. People love this. Here's why I don't, outside of just not enjoying the humor. I feel like it's late to the party in terms of the self-aware stuff. It feels like a co-opting of something the internet does better. It feels uncanny, a little put on. But more than that, it's this false premise, and I get it. I get that it's for a commercial, and it's working, so I'm not arguing the effectiveness. It works. But this false premise of like, these companies spend billions on these commercials, but I'm just gonna buy some stock footage, and it's just gonna be me on a green screen. Yes, you can easily spend for a campaign of a couple ads upwards of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, which is a lot of money. But it's nowhere near the amount of money that it's going to cost you to actually get airtime in any meaningful way, or actual spend for the campaign to get pushed to phones and laptops and TVs and all those types of, like the actual advertising money, which they are still spending. So it's this incongruency. And I know I'm just probably just splitting hairs, but as I said last year, it's my list. I just don't like it. And it feels like 5 years later, we're still doing this gimmick and we've just reached a point of diminishing returns. If there ever was any.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. In response, we're bringing back our deflation promotion. The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it, so here we go. Because we don't love f***ing our customers over like Big Wireless. We're bringing back our offer for f***ing unlimited premium wireless for only $15 a month. F*** me to the moon and back. That's a great f***ing deal. Explicit enough marketing
So I think I have a lot of things to say, but I'm gonna try to narrow this down a little bit. One, I don't find that funny. I don't think cursing by itself is funny. I don't think ass by itself is funny. I don't think gay jokes on their own, just the fact that, it's funny. I just don't find that funny, and that's where I feel like a lot of this humor tends to go. Oh, so you want me to be explicit? Well, poop and butt. Not my thing. Okay, fine. Maybe it's your thing. Go for it. Go nuts. But here's what I don't like about that, on top of just me not enjoying the general baseline humor. He is like the owner of this company, right? And the whole vibe that he's giving is this kind of like, oh, my marketing this marketing department that I hate. I hate these bastards in marketing. Because the vibe is me being like, I just don't want to do the commercial. I'm so sick of commercials, which I am sick of commercials, which is why I'm making this list. But I'm also not the owner of Mint Mobile. So it's like I'm the owner of Mint Mobile and I'm just being derogatory towards my marketing department. That's what gives it this weird skew. You're not an underdog here. You're not punching up. You are the owner of the company that's basically making fun of your marketing department. And I know you're working with the marketing department and it's a wink wink and nobody's actually getting hurt. But the vibe of that, the general energy, like I'm smart enough to know that nobody in the marketing department in a million years was not 100% involved in this and no one is at all hurt by this. They're all laughing. It's all the point. They're all in on it. It's all fake. I get it. But the reason why I think it's grating, the reason why I don't like it, the reason why I think it's annoying is because this type of premise would only work if he was not the literal owner, not the canonical owner, the actual owner. So that's just one of them, but they're all kind of like this. So here's one from 6 months ago.
This is Richard Galanti, former Costco CFO, a man who stared inflation in the face and said, "Not on my hot dog."
Held the line for 40 years. A hot dog and a soda for $1.50.
We brought him on as Mint's new chief anti-inflation officer. His job, make sure that we stay $15 a month.
Mint's hot dogs will be $15 a month forever.
No, hold on. We don't sell hot dogs.
Yet.
Or ever.
Yet.
To be fair, I liked that one. And the reason I liked that one is because I feel that there was like a joke there, and it was also like explained, like, we are anti-inflation, we're going to keep it together, and we got the Costco guy, everybody knows about the Costco guy. That's like it's just enough self-awareness, and then that's okay. I like that. Okay, can we agree? That one was good. I like this one. Do the comments like it? When will it stop? I don't know what that means. Is that about inflation or these commercials? Hey, not all Canadians think you're so great. They don't like this one. Man, I really don't have my finger on the pulse. Oh, somebody tried to add to the commercial. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. We don't sell hot dogs. Well, we do now. We already signed the papers and everything. Also, you need to learn how to cook hot dogs for the next commercial. Whoa, what just happened? Yeah, it's either really embarrassing or they're like 12. Tell that to Zod's snapped neck. Can't believe Ryan is posting once again after the scandal. Oh yeah, I forgot. A bunch of this is about Justin Baldoni and that whole thing.
Do you like saving money? Don't answer that. It's a rhetorical question. Who doesn't like saving money? Okay, that's also rhetorical. Did you know that Mint Mobile is just $15 a month for premium wireless? I'm not sure if that's a rhetorical question, but I also don't know how you'd answer me because that doesn't work that way with commercials. Who thought this was a good idea? Damn it, I'm doing it again. Do people who ask and then answer their own questions make great lovers? Perhaps.
It's just this vibe of I'm too good to do a commercial, which is why I'm great. And also, I just hate commercials so much, and that's why you should buy this product, and we're not even gonna try. It just tests, like, I also hate commercials, obviously, as we will dive into and already have dived. As we've already seen, I hate commercials too, but there's something so nefarious about using my hatred of commercials against me to try to buy a product that I don't want. It's like trying to appeal to my sense of justice to oppress someone. I'm not gonna do it. You cannot appeal to my sense of hatred for commercials. I hate commercials for the love of the game. The vibe here is that Ryan Reynolds hates commercials only so his commercials can work. Does that make sense? That's why I dislike them, and frankly, what a great way to start the list. Number 9, All States Check First campaign. So if you watch a lot of football on television, like I do, you will notice that some advertisers are more geared toward college football and some advertisers are more geared toward the NFL. In terms of college football, the two advertisers that come to my mind are Allstate and Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper has a series of ads that are themed around college football culture, college football in-jokes. They have fake generic universities and they have a bunch of skits promoting Dr. Pepper. These at worst are just a tad annoying, but at best are actually pretty funny and do a good job of lampooning college football and all of the intricacies and in-jokes that come with it. The other advertiser that I think of when I think of college football is Allstate, and specifically because they have the Allstate logo, which are these hands, like these cupped hands. They'll have them on the net behind the uprights, behind the where you kick field goals and extra points, and the ball kind of hits the hands. It's actually a very genius, subtle advertising. So to talk about some non-genius, non-subtle advertising, Allstate in 2025, during college football only, I believe, ran what is called their Check First campaign. And this is a series of commercials where the basic idea is, before you go with insurance, you should check first to make sure that Allstate doesn't have a better deal. I wish I would have checked first before I did this. Super simple idea in terms of just a setup and a quick little skit. There's a lot of things you could do with that, and everything they did was very strange. Starting with the least weird but not exempt from this trend is one that is specifically themed around the Texas Longhorns football team. Everything in this campaign is either subtly or very obviously centered around a single college football team, a college football titan like Michigan, like Texas, these big football schools that have had success in recent years. They are the sole focus of one commercial. So in this case, it is Texas.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I unlatched Bevo's gate while taking a selfie.
Bevo, no! Come back!
Checking Allstate first was really smart. Not checking Bevo's gate, though, not smart. Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds. Hook 'em.
In the grand scheme of this campaign and commercials in general, this one isn't horrible, but it is a little weird. The setup is strange. I didn't check that I unlatched Bevo's gate when I took a selfie. It's just one step from what would be an obvious thing of like, check first if my garage door was closed before I backed out of my garage and then, I hit the garage. I should have checked first like I did with Allstate. But no, this is like, I should have checked that I didn't unlatch the cow's gate or the Longhorn's gate when I took a selfie with him at the game. It's just what, huh? It's just one step far. And then, it's kind of funny how Bevo gets out and then he goes into what is obviously the executive suite or the president's suite at this like university stadium. And it's funny that, you got all these like rich folks and then the cow comes in. It would have been made way funnier, and I know they can't do this, but it would have been funnier to me is if the steer or the Longhorn would just charged like the university president, and it's like made known in the commercial like this is the president of the University of Texas, and it just spears him against the wall, and people are like screaming and like throwing up and like oh no, and they're just crying and just violence. And then it goes back to this guy who's like, I wish I would have checked first like I do with Allstate. That's advertising. But even within this commercial, there's something strange about this character, this guy, because I'm gonna say some things about his face, and again, I don't like to be like, this guy's ugly, or I don't think this guy's good looking, I don't want him on my television. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to shame this guy for having a face. What is up with his face? Because he does not look like a college student. Look at him. He does not look like this guy is in college. So that's strange. But then the face he makes and the way his face moves, it is either incredible acting because he just unleashed Devo or Bevo or whatever I didn't go to the University of Texas. I don't know anything about them. He unleashed Bevo, and Bevo ended up murdering, the president and several of the university's top staff. And he's just like, hook him. And he's clearly just ridden with guilt of what he's just done. And that's why his face is so strange and stiff and his performance is so stilted. Or strange acting, strange directing, weird scenario to begin with.
Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds.
This is also something that happens with this college football advertising, especially if you're from one of the regions they're trying to advertise to. They shoot these commercials, I'm sure, in Los Angeles on a green screen, or in New York on a green screen, or nowadays in some random country in Europe or Asia on a green screen. But they want you to believe it's from Texas. I always recognized this growing up because the Kansas Jayhawks basketball team would be pretty good, and they would be in national commercials, and they try to represent Kansans in these commercials, and it would just be like weird and uncanny. And I think this is a perfect example of it because Texas, the University of Texas, this is your guy. This guy that seems to be suppressing a Northeastern accent. Like, if he just started talking with a Boston accent, everything about this guy, the way he looks, the way his facial expressions are, the way his face is, would make sense. And it sounds like at the end, he's like suppressing like a thick Boston or Northeastern New York something accent. But instead, it's like this forced American accent, but that's not even a Southern or a Texas accent.
Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds.
Yeah, I'm a fan of UCLA. I do like them Bruins at UCLA. That's me. It's like, that's not what a guy from UCLA would sound like. It's strange and uncanny, and it's stilted, and then he kind of like doesn't know what to do at the end, and he goes like, hook 'em, and
Hook 'em.
it's weird. And if you can believe it, I had this many complaints about this one. This isn't even the worst one.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check that it's not going into overtime before you storm the court. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your outfit first before meeting your girlfriend's family.
It seems as though this ad originated during March Madness earlier this year, earlier in 2025, so March of 2025, because all of the college basketball ones make sense. Hey, make sure you don't storm the court, but you got to check the score before you storm the court. Hey, make sure you check your girlfriend's family's favorite team before you wear a shirt over to their house. Easy, like slam dunks, easy shit, layups. And then when it came to the football ones, they got shaky feet. They got weird. So here's another football one that I think is just like, what?
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Unfortunately, I didn't check if doing the Georgia bark at my boss would be appropriate. Go, dogs.
Yeah. So we need to...
And it's not. Checking Allstate first was smart. Barking at my boss, dumb. At least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds.
Hey, bark boy.
These guys are crazy.
So this one just frustrates me. I mean, it's a perfect setup and payoff. It's just this idea of this just absolutely atrociously awkward scenario, probably made worse by the idea that, like, I know a guy that would have done that. I know a guy that this would have been awkward with. It's just, this one is just cringe. It's the Scott's Tots of Allstate commercials of just, you have to watch this guy bark at this woman, and she just is so clearly uncomfortable, and everyone's so uncomfortable, and it doesn't make me say, I should go with Allstate Insurance. That's a great idea. But maybe it's infiltrated my brain in some other way. So every time I hear a dog bark, I'll be like, Allstate, I should get Allstate. I don't know, maybe. This is getting into the realm of nonsensical. The first one was like that was weird, was like the latch. Like, oh, I should have checked to make sure I didn't do something. Which, why would you check to make sure you didn't undo a latch? It doesn't make any sense.
Unfortunately, I didn't check if doing the Georgia bark at my boss would be appropriate.
This one's strange because I didn't check if doing the Georgia bark at my boss would be appropriate. How would you check to see if that was appropriate? Again, it's so like, you should check your girlfriend's family's team before wearing your college shirt to their house, because the dad comes out and he's wearing Duke and you're wearing North Carolina, you're standing at each other, and what a bad first impression. You know, you're dressed as his rival. Womp, bomp, ba-da-dum, by Allstate. This one, though, is I should have checked to see if it was appropriate to bark at my boss. Like, what would you have checked? Who would you have checked with? How would you have checked? It's just, it seems so nitpicky, but it's the entire premise of the ad. Like, they're clearly forced to work within this check first commercial, and they've stretched it too thin, or they're not creative enough to find something that actually fits. So it's like, I should have checked to make sure the social contract would hold up if I barked at my boss because she has a Georgia Bulldogs mug. And it's like, what? Just, why is everything so weird?
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Unfortunately, I didn't check to see if anyone was watching before I stole cotton candy from a child. Checking Allstate first was really smart. Not checking the Jumbotron, not smart. Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds. Was it worth it? Yeah.
People love these, apparently. But I'm not trying. I'll go against the grain. I don't care. You love this? Here's why I don't. It's on my list. It's my list, not yours. If you have your own list, feel free to make one of those. But this is on my list. I don't like this ad, and this one is my least favorite because I cannot imagine a scenario where you would steal cotton candy from a child, let alone get caught on the Jumbotron. I mean, I get that it's like stealing candy from a baby is the play, but it feels like one step removed. And I do like the end where he's like, would I do it again? Yeah, I would.
Was it worth it? Yeah.
Like, that part's fine, but in what world would you ever do this? There's something about it being cotton candy that's just like, it's sticky and like gross and unsanitary, and it's like, I'm just gonna grab it from somebody else. Like, it's not the same thing. I don't know what another food would be that would be easier to like grab a little piece of, get it when somebody's not looking. Why would you do that in the first place? But cotton candy specifically, I think the reason that I hate this so much is who would do that? Why would you do that? And I know it's a thin line between like, I'm being absurd. It's an absurd scenario. That's why it's funny. That's why it's a commercial. And I get that, but it's an absurd scenario to steal anything, let alone cotton candy. I don't know. To me, it's like one step removed. Like it's not that like, this is unbelievable, but I'm not trying to CinemaSins this commercial. But it's more of just, I don't know what irks me so much about it. I wish I could articulate it better. I feel like it's just the texture of the cotton candy that you would get caught at the same time as doing that. There's just something that irks me about all of these ads, whether it's the guy and his weird facial expressions and the suppression of an accent, or at least the incorrect accent. The Georgia Bulldogs one where every time I turn on the TV, this guy is barking at his boss. Who's a woman. Or this one where I'm watching this guy and I'm just thinking about somebody like holding cotton candy, like getting their sweaty fingers into another child's cotton candy and there's something tactile and disgusting about each one of these ads in this campaign, which is why they're on my list.
Was it worth it? Yeah.
Number 8, Lavazza Coffee, starring John Krasinski and Steve Carell. So this is proof that not every single commercial on this list is something that I hate with vitriol. This one is something that more confuses me and leads to hate and vitriol. So if you don't know, Lavazza Coffee is a coffee brand, and this is from Lavazza's own YouTube channel. The description says this is not a joke. This is a joke that I would make, but they say it's real. It was founded by Luigi Lavazza. It seems like it's a newer brand, and the newest push, the first national televised push that at least I've been subject to, is a series of ads with Steve Carell and John Krasinski. From The Office, the television show The Office. You may have heard of it from one of its thousands of Office Rewatch podcasts. Office Rewatch Podcast. These commercials are strange because Steve Carell and John Krasinski, I thought, originally at least, were comedians. They were funny people. And when they were on The Office, that was a comedy show. These commercials are not funny. And unlike other commercials that are not funny, it seems like they're not trying to be funny. So all of the commercials feature this robot name, and I don't know what the robot's name is. Maybe the robot's name is also Luigi Lavazza, but there is a video with 8.5 million views. Oh my God, the robot's name is Luigi. That's really strange. It says, meet Luigi, your new best mate. Every day, he witnesses the reactions of pure pleasure his human colleagues have when drinking their Lavazza coffee. Until Luigi develops the secret dream of sipping it too, but will he be able to feel what humans feel? Watch until the end to discover more. Okay, well, here we go.
When I was just a little girl.
This is a straight up ripoff of WALL-E. Like, not even trying to hide it. Oh my God, he's gonna try to drink the coffee. Oh no. Oh, it worked. It'd be crazy in the flashback if he is confronted by the real Luigi Lavazza, who has a Wikipedia page. Yeah, if he met this guy, the real Luigi Lavazza, like it does he gets a sip of the coffee and it does the ratatouille, it goes into his eye and he remembers when he was Luigi Lavazza before he was reincarnated as a robot, and he just stares right at Luigi. Okay, so Lavazza maybe is really well known in Europe or in Italy specifically. In the United States, I've only started to hear about it recently. Okay, that's kind of funny. I like that the robot is doing like the Italian hand thing. I think that's funny. Oh my god, it's dead. It died. Oh.
He did it again. Yeah, poor guy.
I didn't realize that Steve Carell and John Krasinski were in this ad. Do you see how weird this is though? So it's like, it's Steve Carell and Luigi Lavazza and John Krasinski, and they're dressed very, I guess maybe Italian. They're very fashionable in the way that they dress, and then they kind of interact with the robot, but they're not making jokes. They're like, oh, he did it again. Like, they know the Luigi Lavazza robot and he does this a lot. But what is the point of having Steve Carell and John Krasinski here at all? This part of it takes place in an office, but they're not making jokes. It's not really a reference to The Office. Why did you pay this amount for these two people to tell you about coffee? And that's just the start of these ads. I didn't even know they were in this one.
Oh, hello. Welcome back.
Oh, he's alive. When I initially saw this ad, my assumption was that it was a way to make coffee, like a machine, a special machine that makes coffee, because it's a robot. So the robot kind of looks like a coffee maker a little bit, and he looks like a super smart way to make coffee. And so I thought the ad for a long time was about this new Keurig Nespresso style thing, but it seems like the thing they're mainly promoting is the Keurig cups, because that's what they're showing in these commercials. And so having Steve Carell and John Krasinski seems completely just random. But then there are other ads where they are more present.
That's new.
Join me, my friend.
What are you doing?
We are living la vida loca.
Oh, do you mean La Dolce Vita? Is this your idea?
I don't know what's so strange about it. I'm not saying that like John Krasinski is a generational comedic talent in a way that he's not being utilized, but Steve Carell is definitely not being utilized. And I understand that Steve Carell does a bunch of serious roles, and people forgot when he was just like the funniest guy on earth, unless you're a huge fan of The Office or his movies. But now he's like a respected actor that can kind of do it all. But it's strange to me that you get these two comedic actors from a well-known comedic show, and then they're not referencing the show, and there's not really a novelty in seeing them together, because these characters on the show, from what I remember from watching all those rewatch podcasts, which is my preferred way to consume The Office, is that Jim and Michael interacted, but it was like an ensemble. They interacted a lot, obviously, because they were some of the main characters, but it feels like it would have been more of an understandable thing if it was Rainn Wilson and Steve Carell, because it's like Dwight and Michael, or Jim and Dwight would be even more so than that. I understand that these are the main characters and they're interacting again, but that doesn't seem enough to like allow them to just do whatever they want. In the same way that, as annoying as the T-Mobile commercials are with Zach Braff and Donald Faison, those are the two main characters that are canonical best friends in Scrubs, and now they're being best friends in real life like they are, and now they're best friends in the T-Mobile ad. I'm not defending those ads, because those ads are also very annoying, but at least the premise makes sense. Like, these two played best friends on TV, they're best friends in real life, and now they're best friends in the commercial. But these people weren't friends, really. I guess kind of at points in The Office. I don't know about the relationship. Maybe they were best buds in real life. And the other thing that comes to mind is, Heisenberg and Jesse, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, they have their tequila company, and they like go on roller coasters with Nate from Page and Mr. Morrow. That makes sense. Not the hanging out with Page and Mr. Morrow part, but it makes sense that they're doing tequila together, because it's like, oh, it's Heisenberg, they're back together. The novelty of these two people being together is not enough. And so you assume then there has to be an added aspect to it. And that must be that they are in office. And maybe that's enough for them. Okay, so the first joke of the ad is he like hits the glass door, because Carell's awards are blocking him. Do you see how the visual language of this ad doesn't make sense right off the bat? Like, what is blocking Okay, so I think it's the shelf. You can barely see the outline of the glass. The shelf of awards blocks him. So the premise immediately is Steve Carell is an egotist. And then they talk to the robot like they're buds.
Is this your idea?
It would be funny if they just recreated a scene from The Office and then this robot rolled up and they acted like it was another character from The Office.
Grazie.
Is this Las Vegas?
Venice.
I'm confused.
So what is happening in this ad? Like they're in Steve Carell's office. I think the point of the ad is the aesthetic and everything else just like comes later. I don't know. What would Luigi Lavazza think of this? What would he have to say? Maybe he loves The Office. Maybe he loves office ladies. Okay, here's another one.
The keys to a cute Italian car. A red one.
Damn, he's good.
Ah, one of my favorite Italian delicacies, tiramisu. That's impossible.
Is it though?
This is closer to what you would expect of like, oh, it's Steve Carell and his friend John Krasinski. They're on vacation in Italy. Well, I guess the robot's there, which is strange. It just doesn't make sense because it would make sense if they were trying to sell a new age espresso machine, but they're not because they're obviously just using a Keurig here.
That is possible. And delicious. That's possilicious.
That's possilicious. And then they laugh maybe at how stupid this is and how much money they're getting paid for it. And then it just becomes strange at the end because the robot falls backwards and then the set behind them falls down and it reveals that they're on a movie set, which I knew, but why do that? It's very subtly nonsensical. It's like, that's a fine thing to happen and it's not wrong, but it doesn't make sense. Like, you are in Italy. But it's like, is the joke that you're not in Italy? Why would that be the joke when you're trying to sell me traditional Italian coffee? Why would it not be better to just have me believe you're in Italy? Is it because it's like it doesn't pass the smell test? And then he says possilicious, like that's funny. And it really feels like they laugh at how they're getting $1.5 billion to just say possilicious, and then I get $1 billion for saying possilicious. Like, it feels like that's the laugh. I mean, listen to this laugh at the end of this.
That's possilicious.
Is that the laugh from the Office bloopers that he did? Like, is that the same laugh? I don't know.
Steve.
Shh, John, they say with Lavazza, you'll become a maestro.
Yeah, maestro of coffee.
So it has nothing to do with music?
It does not.
Just coffee.
Coffee.
Shall I go again?
Please.
So I guess him being ignorant and strange, him being like an ignorant person, maybe is the joke that he just can't understand things. I'm struggling to make sense. And then the description reads, Steve, you're great at whatever you're doing. But John and Luigi are right. Lavazza turns you into a coffee maestro. Not a music one, a coffee one. Huh. Okay, I found a blooper.
Better.
This is the spot. This is the whole campaign.
Am I just a jerk? What is funny about this? I have to imagine if you're a huge fan of The Office, that you're sitting here and like, I love these two. But are you not also like, why did they not make use of them? Why are they not doing anything funny? Like, why is this not, like, you can't just be like, oh, it's the two people I love. They're in the same room again. Like, that cannot be enough to carry this. You see, they're all on there's 1,000 rewatch podcasts. I know that these two are not as much in that, like, I was on The Office sphere of, that media circuit, but come on. You have to be a little bit disappointed that they got these two in the same room and had them do nothing. Like, nothing.
What are you doing?
All these ads are Steve Carell just being completely normal, watching a YouTube video about Italy, playing with little, with his little spoons. He set up a little xylophone type thing with the coffee. This is him looking out the window, and it's John Krasinski coming in and being like, hey, Steve, you big f***ing idiot. Like, what are you doing? Like, just with this smarmy, like, you must be being a f***ing idiot in here. And it's like Steve Carell doing something completely fine, completely normal, completely subdued, cut to any of the things that he did during the run of The Office that caused tells Jim to jim the camera and then put it side by side with his social faux pas that he's making in the Lavazza ads of him looking out the window.
Living the Dolce Vita.
Of course you are. What's he doing?
The same.
And what's that doing?
Coffee.
Oh, that sounds good. Watch your back. Let's see.
Maybe I'm just joyless, and I should just be lapping this up like a little puppy, just because wow, how delicious is it that two people from a sitcom that I watched and enjoyed enough, but I'm not one of these super fans of, are back in the same room. And by same room, I mean a similar space, because I've never seen this environment before. They're hanging out with a robot that was never really explained to me, and it's just these two. I'm watching people get paid. And whatever, I guess. Do you remember The Office? These are the two stars. They're not the people they play on The Office, they're themselves. They're also not in The Office, they're just hanging out. Also, there's a robot who is Luigi Lavazza. He's not Luigi Lavazza that founded Lavazza. That is a different Luigi. This robot's Luigi is he wants to experience pleasure, except for not anymore. Now he is just friends with Steve Carell. And now there's going to be, they're going to do an ad for a Keurig cup for Lavazza. Maybe it's all money laundering. Maybe it's just a big money laundering scheme. People Magazine, Steve Carell and John Krasinski share laughter and dance moves behind their new Lavazza commercial. Who wants to bet they're going to be more personable and more fun to watch behind the scenes than they are in the actual commercials?
Steve Carell, actor, producer, maestro
of coffee.
Thank you.
Pausalicious.
Caroselli.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind, that wasn't like that. I really feel like I was there on set with the duo. I don't understand. Steve Carell and John Krasinski don't need to be acting like Michael and Jim to get up to hilarious hijinks. It's what the People Magazine article says. I would argue that they might, because this isn't funny. And so maybe they do. There has to be like one of those stupid magazine ads about this. Lavazza shares details of a multi-asset campaign led by a 90-second digital film followed by different cuts landing on TV and social platforms. With the Pleasure Makes Us Human campaign, Lavazza takes its brand communication to the next level. Our narrative explores a timely topic using poetic storytelling infused with a gentle sense of humor meant to engage, entertain, and uplift our audience. While Luigi is the focus, the hero spot ends with a double shot of star power in the form of Carell and Krasinski. This approach contradicts the tendency of celebrity-powered advertising to lead with familiar faces, perhaps giving the ads a better chance to break through. Okay, I get it. So because that first ad focused so heavily on the robot, that's like subversive, which I agree, but subversion, you can subvert things in a lot of ways. You could literally end and say, don't buy our coffee. They are boosting the story instead of owning it, Colpo said. Both of them are bringing a level of humanity and lighthearted sophistication that is not something easy to be found out there. Okay, so this is all intentional. I mean, obviously as intended, but it's strange. To center the ads on Lavazza coffee and the robotic character, the brand relied on Carell and Krasinski's true friendship and natural chemistry. Rather than having them play the characters or nod to their roles from The Office, they didn't even nod. They're like, well, don't nod. We asked them to be themselves. During the discussions with both Steve and John, it was very, very important to set the entire relationship and partnership with them this way. So again, I think I got that right. As Lavazza looks to establish itself in the US market, having two of the country's recognizable Hollywood stars was a bingo. Okay, so they're just like, just the fact that we have huge Hollywood celebrities promoting our coffee, that is already a win. And it doesn't matter that the product is strange and solemn and quiet, because it's kind of what they're going for. This is not one of those ads that's so jarring and so annoying and just frustrating to watch. It's confounding. It's strange. And I think it's a win for them. I don't know. It's still on my list of worst commercials because it just feels so weird. The point of the ad is to be weird and quiet and subdued and not, they didn't mean for it to be as strange as it is. I think they just meant for it to be casual, but it just comes across as like, what's going on? Why are these two not being funny? It's strange.
Wow.
Number 7, the Geico Gecko is done with being famous. So last year on our top 10 worst commercials list, we had the Geico Caveman, which itself was a sequel to an earlier run of caveman commercials where it's so easy a caveman could do it in reference to Geico, which became a phenomenon and spawned its own television show, strangely. But that was rebooted in last year or the year before, where the Geico Caveman was now upset that he was no longer the mascot of Geico and was like having PTSD. I remember the first ad in this series being very funny because it was very surreal. It was funny to see the caveman again, and it was like weird how long it was and how like absolutely depressed the caveman was. He was really playing it up. But then those commercials became just absolutely annoying where the caveman was pathetic and he was constantly complaining that the Geico Gecko was more famous than he was now. Well, this year we have an even more meta, an even stranger next step, a pseudo-sequel to those commercials in which the Geico Gecko is himself kind of tired with being famous. The name of this series of ads is called Low Key Big Deal. The general premise, or how I imagine it was pitched, is that the Geico, Gecko's kind of a big deal, but he's low key about it in the same way that Geico has big deals, but they're low key about it, even though they're not. They advertise probably more than anything ever, but regardless. And they have a few ads in this run that drive me nuts. Some for reasons that are probably just me, and some that I think are pretty ubiquitous. The first one in this run, the one that I have the least amount of issue with, is called Fine Dining, and essentially the premise is that the Geico Gecko is out for dinner, and the chef has made a special treat just for him because he's so famous. And then the Gecko says, I don't need special treatment. And the guy says, I thought you would say that, so here's a run-of-the-mill, thank you for being Geico grilled cheese. And then the Gecko's like, now that's what I'm talking about. And the premise of that commercial is essentially, the Geico Gecko is humble, and we're all so grateful for him and how great of deals Geico has, but he's humble. And so he's saying, hey, I don't need special treatment. I'm just doing my job, helping everybody get car insurance. But then the ad, towards the end, slips in something that's like insidious, almost sinister in its inclusion. Because if the point of this is that the Gecko is not annoyed, he's like, I don't need special treatment. He's nice about it. But then at the end, the waiter gets like really excited. And he's like, yeah. And he like embarrasses himself. And then the Geico Gecko like asserts his celebrity status or his authority or his power in the situation. Instead of like playing it off like a normal human would be when somebody gets a little too excited or acts a little strange, he kind of goes, okay, get this guy away from me. I'm too famous for this guy. Get him away.
Now we're talking.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
It's so weird to include that. It's because the fundamental nature of the joke is this waiter embarrassed himself in front of a celebrity. And the celebrity is the Geico Gecko, which, that's just strange enough. But again, this is not the worst offender, but that's kind of your introduction to this concept. It feels like these commercials have been going on so long, whether it's the Geico Gecko or Flo from Progressive, that they've begun to eat their own tail. And the meta commentary has been done so many times. There's so many layers of strangeness. Geico is now releasing a new series of ads with the Gecko. There's one with a guy throwing a coin into a fountain. He's like, you don't have to throw your money away to wish for a good deal. Just call Geico. And it's like, okay, the absurdity here is that this guy throws his phone into the fountain and that there's a gecko. It feels like because the Gecko has been around for so long, the initial absurdity of a talking gecko with a British accent is so normalized in our lives and the lives of people that consume television and media and wherever commercials may be, that the absurdity that like it's a gecko like Geico, it sounds like gecko and sounds like Geico, and he has a British accent and he's selling car insurance. Whenever that initially came out, that initial absurdity is gone. It's normal. The Geico Gecko is a thing, and it's always been a thing to the people that are watching, and so that's no longer the absurd part of the commercials. So they have to add another layer of absurdity. When did the Geico Gecko come out? Like, what was the first Geico Gecko ad? Okay, wait, I found one from 1999.
This is my final plea. I am a gecko, not to be confused with Geico, which could save you hundreds on car insurance. So stop calling me.
First off, I don't think I've ever seen that commercial, but that's the origin of the Geico Gecko, I assume, because it's so one-to-one. This gecko's saying, stop calling me, you're trying to get a hold of Geico. They're the guys that can save you a lot of money on car insurance, and it's immediate, it's absurd, but it's fine, and it's, oh my gosh, I forgot commercials used to make sense. They used to be easy to understand. And man, there's been a lot of Geico Gecko commercials.
You have reached a gecko. You probably wanted Geico, which could save you hundreds on car insurance. Don't be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Have a nice day.
Geico.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about these. These are like perfect commercials. I could see the person pitching this, and it's like, Geico sounds like Gecko. So wouldn't it be funny if a gecko kept getting the calls that were meant to go to Geico? And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's 1999, everything's fine. They'll understand, it's okay. And also, it's 1999, so it's important that people understand. It's not like, no, confuse them because it'll increase the amount of watches. It just makes sense.
Hello? No, I can't save you money on car insurance. You want Geico, not Gecko. Well, that's uncalled for.
Okay, there you go. He was in the shower.
So you want to change your name? People confusing you with Geico, calling you at all hours? What name would you like?
Komodo Dragon, please.
Komodo Dragon, please. When did the Geico Gecko start working for Geico? Because in all these ads, he's absolutely not shilling for Geico. He's like, stop associating me with Geico. And in the new ads, the ones that are on my list this year, he's like, hey, I'm so over being famous for Geico.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
What the hell was that?
Sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much, and I have to close my eyes and hide.
Why do people love Geico?
I wanna hold you till I die.
Whoa. That woman really was like, f***ing that gecko.
Geico. Geico has great service. Geico has great service.
Oh my gosh, they have him auditioning. This is 2002. Wow, there's like a whole story here.
24 hours a day.
You have a very commercial look.
Next, please.
Well, hello. Oh, great. A talking gecko. Geico.
You actually get to see the Geico Gecko be upset at Geico through a series of ads because he's getting mistaken for Geico over the phone. Then you get him auditioning to become Geico's spokesperson after some sort of defeat of being mistaken, trying to profit off of his issue. Then he gets the job, and then he's just the Geico Gecko, who's just in other commercials with other absurd things happening. And now he's been doing it for so long that he's famous as the Geico Gecko. And now other people are coming up to him being like, are you the Geico Gecko? And he's like, I get that all the time. It's so, culture is eating itself. It is like a black hole, like a void of meta context. You need to know so much stuff that I didn't even know. I don't remember those commercials from the early 2000s. I don't remember him auditioning. I'm sure some people do, but I don't remember that series of ads. I just remember him as the Geico Gecko, and it's been that way for 26 years at least now. It's so strange. And so back to the Geico Gecko 2025, because we're not even to the ones that make me the most upset. This one, art model, is the Geico Gecko modeling for an art class, and the conceit is that everyone knows he's the Geico Gecko and is like, wow, I can't believe we got the Geico Gecko here to model for us. And then one woman goes crazy with the paints, and she draws the Geico Gecko and makes him like really sexy. And he's like all ripped and has like a six-pack and huge biceps. And she's showing it to him, which I guess this isn't even the first, I mean, probably not even the second woman to just be absolutely, sexually attracted to the Geico Gecko in Geico's commercials. Because I'm sure if I looked up on DeviantArt like Geico Gecko, I'm sure something would come up. Let's see if I can find anything. Honestly, nothing that weird, which is actually kind of refreshing. I guess there's not a huge amount of people in our world that are sexually attracted to the Geico Gecko. Now, in the Geico commercial world, a lot of people are sexually attracted to the Geico Gecko. This had the perfect opportunity for the Geico Gecko to say, oh, I think you might have gone a little crazy on the biceps, or I don't look that muscular in real life. But no, he's like nailed it.
Spitting image.
Which is it's a fine joke. I don't know if it's hilarious, but it's a joke, but it's like, this is your mascot. And you're positioning him as famous when he's just supposed to be neutral. He's just selling you he's just a gecko. And now he's, oh, I'm so famous, and if you draw me, I got these biceps. I'm like, oh, look at me. It's strange. One of the commercials in this, group of commercials that I really dislike, I dislike it not because, let's just watch this one actually.
I'm stumped. Friendly insurance lizard, first letter G.
Geppetto?
Come on, you just switched to Geico for car insurance? They knew exactly what you needed?
The friendly people at Geico weren't lizards.
Get more support.
Is that how you spell fracascia?
That one's fine, but I really think this guy's hamming it up too much. I don't like how much I hate the way he says fracascia. I've heard it a billion times now, and I hate it. I hate how animated he is, which is just too much for me.
The friendly people at Geico weren't lizards.
Weren't lizards. Like he's like Jim Carrey a little bit. It's kind of strange. But the worst one in this series of ads, the one that I think everyone involved just drives me up a wall, is No Talking, which is one set in a library. This one's frustrating because if you're just watching television, you just hear shh, 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 shh over and over again, and it's really frustrating. But like everyone in this, the way it's shot, the way these people are acting, it just makes me so frustrated. Like I can try to point out why.
The Geico Gecko, I'm like speechless.
The Geico Gecko, I'm like speechless. And the way she's framed and the way her face is moving and just like the expressions. I mean, they're playing their characters probably as directed, but it's just so annoying. And like the way she comes back and she's like, it's just, they're so animated, like even for commercial acting, they're too animated. Shh, 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 shh. It's just like so annoying. Some of these are just annoying because they're annoying. There's one that's a really bad offender.
I think I like sports now.
No way. The Gecko was just spotted down the street.
I've always wanted to meet him.
Sounds like you got more than just savings, my dudes.
So do we know you?
Oh, I'm just a stranger who loves friendly service and American football.
Okay. Something to drink?
Oh, yes, spot of tea be lovely. And a root beer with lots of ice.
The Geico Gecko is trying to like go to a bar, but these people at the bar are like, the Geico Gecko is spotted around here. And then the Geico Gecko shows up, but he's wearing a cowboy hat and a mustache, like he's incognito, like he's Taylor Swift. He's so famous he can't even be in a location, a normal location. He'd be mobbed. But then he like kind of talks to them anyways and almost breaks, but they don't realize it. The premise, the general premise in terms of who is this character, what are their goals, why are they behaving this way, is extremely difficult to follow. Because in some of them, he's okay with being famous and he's like into it, and others he's so over it, he has to go incognito, he just wants to be a normal person. But in this one, he's too famous. But there's another that's not on here. Here's the one at the airport.
Oh, you the Geico Gecko! I filed a claim for my car with the Geico app. Only took 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, Geico's all about getting more than just savings.
The next time, how about less fluid ounces?
Fair enough. Oh.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
That one is fine. That one's whatever. It's just, I like that he doesn't get special treatment because and he's like, oh man, you're taking my thing. Oh, here's one. Here's another one. This is Geico TV spot VIP.
I'm not really one for the spotlight, but there is some gravy to be had. I always seem to get primo parking.
I never do this, but could I get a picture?
Yeah, it's not like you run into animal celebrities every day.
Stop. It's Doug the Pug! Doug!
I stand corrected.
I literally never do this.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
See, so in this one, he's like, I'm famous and I'm not really made out for the famous life, but it does come with a few perks. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you famous now? There's one that I'm trying to find that I can't find, where I swear he gets upset that he isn't recognized, which throws this entire premise off, and they've like erased it. Wait, Doug the Pug is a real celebrity? He has 3.5 million followers? He met the Stranger Things kids when they were like really young? I thought it was a joke for the commercial. I didn't know that Doug the Pug was real. Huh. It doesn't really change anything for me. This is a forum and somebody said, I love the Geico Gecko. He is just so cool. What I like most is how perfect the animation is. Perfection. Wow. The low-key big deal ad campaign has 14 ads. We delivered 14 commercials as part of the brand's expansive low-key big deal campaign. Our artists crafted a total of 191 shots, including 98 unique gecko shots. So we know of the fine dining one, the library one, the one where he parks, and that's also the Doug the Pug one. I have to find the names of these ads. Okay, believe it or not, I have found an interview about these commercials in Little Black Book, which I don't know what that is. It seems to be about Advertising, let's delve into the details behind Geico's largest creative slate ever. As a brand with an incredible advertising legacy and such a well-known icon in the Gecko, how do you strike the right balance between a sense of familiarity that consumers recognize and creating work that feels new and fresh for today's audience and market demands? And then Tom says, Geico has always had a knack for subverting expectations or making novel observations about the world. So while we leverage our heritage and familiarity in a disarming way, we're always looking to lean into modern tensions and find new opportunities to surprise our audiences. Take the latest low-key big deal campaign for auto insurance, where you see the Gecko alongside a dogfluencer, a relatively recent phenomenon, showing up on the street together. So they talk about the bag check. You've got a lot to choose from, but what pieces of work from your whole slate are your favorites and why? And then Tom says, it's hard to pick our favorites, but there's a few consistently rise to the top. For auto insurance, Bag Check is a standout among the low-key big deal campaign. There's a lot to enjoy and think about each time you watch. How did the Gecko fit those cosmetics into the bag? Why does he need them? Does the security agent enjoy this a bit too much? After such a big creative undertaking, what's next for the brand and the Gecko? We set a few records in the first half of 2025, bringing more work to market than ever before on the fastest timelines in brand history. But if you think that's something, just wait until you see what Geico and the Martin Agency have in store next. Most people are surprised to learn that the Gecko has no name. I'm sure this is a perfectly fine person, and I don't mean to hone in on them too much, but why would I be surprised to learn that the Gecko doesn't have a name? Everyone always refers to him as the Geico Gecko. What would his name be? Yeah, okay, hold on. The Geico Gecko, real name Martin, is the primary mascot of Geico. So I don't know where they got that from. But apparently he does have a name, so that's not even a good fun fact.
Second rule, don't steal a co-worker's egg salad, especially if it's marked the Gecko.
I could have sworn there was another one that specifically pointed out kind of what I really dislike about these, but regardless of that, the thing that I dislike about these the most, and the reason they're on the list, outside of just that everyone is overacted and the facial expressions are so cartoony, is that it confuses the character from this very neutral, professional, I'm selling you Geico and maybe there's something strange going on around me, to a character that is grappling with fame and the fame that comes with being the Geico spokesperson, and their attitude and their ego, and just it's buying into your own hype in a way that doesn't make me want to buy your product. I don't understand how that made it to screen, unless they thought that the idea that the public is just so grateful to Geico and that his humility would come through and it would communicate to me that everybody knows Geico's great, but Geico's just here doing their job. Like that idea would come through, but all that comes through to me is that Geico thinks they've nailed this campaign. They made something, as the person talked about, so culturally relevant that they can pull this trick where it's a meta eating its own tail. I saw there was a 15-minute Geico Gecko documentary they made, which is, again, just the dedication to something like that surrealness interests me far more than any of these ads, but it's all crumbling. It feels like it's all falling apart. It's just at the seams. Our culture is just disappearing into a void. It's like melting into itself. It's like, yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just disintegrating.
Oh, sure, he's the Geico Gecko, but he's my best friend.
Number 6, the Meghan Trainor State Farm commercial. So the main reason that I've seen any of these commercials is because the only reason I watch broadcast television is to watch NFL games, because I am a fan of football, as random and weird as that may seem to those of you that know me for being a fan of theme parks. But I do really enjoy watching football on television, and this ad campaign has been going on for some time now, and it features legendary, soon-to-be Hall of Fame quarterback Patrick Mahomes, multi-time Super Bowl champion, and I'm saying all this because I'm obviously also from Kansas City, so I watch NFL, I'm from Kansas City, I am a fan of Patrick Mahomes. Now, if you know anything about pop culture or the National Football League, that is not in vogue domestically. He's an international sports icon. I don't think the hatred for him extends outside of the United States. And actually, I was outside the United States watching a football game, and they kind of treat him the way that I imagine the rest of the world treats LeBron and how we treat a soccer player that's really good. And so outside the United States and in Kansas City, in the Kansas City metro area, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of all time because of all the Super Bowls he's won. Outside of that, he is maligned.
Stop him, Mahomes. Stop. You're not nice.
Partly because he's really good, partly because people think the refs are helping him, partly because they think he's not good, or whatever. 1,000 reasons, his brother, all sorts of reasons that people don't like Patrick Mahomes. Last year, I featured Patrick Mahomes because he had a series of commercials that I thought were annoying, even as somebody that's a fan of him, because, well, I like him being the quarterback of my football team my whole life, the Kansas City Chiefs, and winning Super Bowls for my Kansas City Chiefs. I think he does way too many advertisements. And if you think this on a national level, if you live in California or the Northeast or literally anywhere outside of Kansas City and think, man, Patrick Mahomes is in too many commercials, you have no idea what you're talking about. Step foot in Kansas City and anything that can be sold, Patrick Mahomes is selling. I feel like I saw a local dentist have Patrick Mahomes as their spokesperson. He's a spokesperson for Hy-Vee. He's a spokesperson for pretty much anything that you can imagine. And on a national level, the thing that he's known the most for is State Farm, specifically the commercials with Jake from State Farm, which I talked about at length last time. This year, he continues a tradition where he tries to get, which I think this is a cool thing that he does, I think, this is just me looking from the outside in, where he tries to get people that otherwise would not get advertising deals into commercials. So this year, he got one of his offensive linemen, if you don't know anything about football, these are the muscle. They rarely ever hold the football, only in like absolute worst case scenario, fumble, tipped ball, will they actually hold the football. They are not the running backs or wide receivers, and they're not the quarterbacks. They're not even the star defensive players. These guys do not get the love, so to speak, and that's reflected both in the amount of money they make and in the amount of attention they get. His right guard, Trey Smith, is in one of these commercials, and this commercial from State Farm is fine. It's not normal. It's kind of not funny, but it's just fine. It's when you go with State Farm rather than the other guys, because when you go with State Farm, that's like going with offensive lineman Trey Smith, but going with the other guys is going like this guard, because he's a guard in football, and the other guard is a crossing guard, and he does like a fake like lower thirds introduction like they do in the football games, and then he gets obliterated, and Jake from State Farm is there for no reason. So that commercial is fine. If that would have been the only commercial that Patrick Mahomes did this year, they wouldn't be on this list, because I already said everything I had to say about Jake from State Farm. I already dogged on this campaign, and unlike some of the other parts to this video, this is not me complaining about the campaign. This is me complaining about a specific spot, and this is the least controversial commercial that I will criticize in terms of is it worthy of criticism, because all of the other commercials I'm going to do, a lot of times people will see them and they'll think, oh yeah, it's funny that you're so mad at this, but I would have never gotten annoyed at that, or I would have never thought about it this way. But this is a jarring, frustrating, everyone, if it played once, people are talking about it on Reddit, online, wherever. They hate it, and it's hard to argue why. So it's called Trainer. Now remember what we set up before. The idea here is that Patrick Mahomes is getting people that otherwise would never have commercial deals, he's getting them paid. And so in this case, you can see the thought process is Patrick Mahomes wants to get his trainer. And if you've watched the Chiefs play football and you've paid attention to the sideline, this is, in this commercial, you will see his actual trainer. The joke is, it's like wanting this trainer, Patrick Mahomes, a real-life trainer who he has got somehow into getting a commercial deal with State Farm, which is absurd, and it's something that does not happen. But in reality, you get this trainer, and it's Meghan Trainor, pop star Meghan Trainor. So this sets up the fact that Meghan Trainor in this commercial has to prove why she is such a bad trainer. And in doing so, she makes everyone involved look like an absolute fool. This commercial becomes one of the most aggressively annoying things that has played on TV in quite some time. So let's watch it.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the experience of this trainer.
Good to go.
But getting that trainer.
Meghan Trainor. I'm all about that brace, no trouble. Give me your arm.
No, it's not for that.
Who are you?
Patrick I play football.
This is Patrick, everyone. Give it up for Patrick. He does sports.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Why is no one clapping?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I know nothing of Meghan Trainor. I remember her from the All About That Bass era. I don't know if I ever saw her perform maybe on a VMAs or like on a word show. I never really paid attention to Meghan Trainor. I don't know what her character is. Like, what is her vibe? Because all I know about Meghan Trainor is if she were to It's a Wonderful Lifestyle be removed from existence, there'd be an immediate noticeable increase in the mental well-being of Target employees, because her songs are in Target commercials, I believe, and also are in Target. Like, she makes songs that play in Target. Anyways, back to this commercial. So she turns to the camera and says, Meghan Trainor, which she's probably being directed to do this, or maybe this is some sort of bit that she's helped come up with. She's wearing this strange, plasticky, rigid, bright pink outfit, which clashes, and again, maybe it's the point, it's supposed to be a clashing idea, with the red of this fake Chiefs State Farm locker room situation. And so she then immediately jumps into her most famous song, All About That Bass. But in this version, it's all about that brace, because it's a knee brace. I wonder if this chaotic, give me your arm.
Give me your arm.
Is this her failing to do a commercial, or is this her doing this strange avant-garde version of herself for this commercial? Because it's not fun to watch and it's not funny on its own, but this like, give me your arm, like this like weird, like she's playing a insane pop star version of herself. If it's not that, if it's not, oh, I'm going to do this like bespoke, like I'm going to make people hate me so they love State Farm, and I'm going to, lie on that sword for everybody so State Farm can, deny another billion people the thing they paid for. If that's not what it's about, it just makes her really annoying. So the other scenario, I think, is that everyone on set keeps laughing at what she's doing, which is encouraging her to go further, and then everyone keeps laughing, and they're like, man, I just could not believe, Meghan Trainor, the joke was just supposed to be that Meghan Trainor isn't a good trainer, but she came and killed it on set, and we kept it in, and it's, no, it's bad. But I don't know, maybe it is just a genius level performance where she's willing to just sacrifice her own image for State Farm, because this is absurd.
Who are you?
Patrick, I play football.
And then Patrick Mahomes has to act, and despite starring in enough commercials to constitute the full runtime of a regular season of television by this point, he has not improved at all. Who are you is what Meghan Trainor says to Patrick Mahomes. Because Meghan Trainor doesn't know, because she's a bad trainer. I'm Patrick Mahomes, I play football. And then she grabs a mic out of nowhere, which again, the surreal nature of this is interesting. And then she says, this is Patrick, everyone. He does sports.
This is Patrick, everyone. Give it up for Patrick. He does sports.
And that is the type of thing that you do not want to put on television when only sports fans are watching. Because this type of person, the better than thou, go sports ball. It's like, it's not cool to not even understand what sports are. Like, it's not interesting. It's not subversive. It just makes you look dumb. Go sports team, sports ball. It's the same. To me, it's just that same energy of like making fun of Disney adults. And while it maybe not be as cruel or as directed at the individual, it's that same kind of thing of like, who could possibly be interested in this? Why would anyone lead such an uncurious life? What a miserable existence to be so uncurious about something that clearly fascinates people. And even if you don't like it or don't want to engage in it, the jubilation in your contentness with not engaging in something that the people you're talking to, surrounded by, talking about, clearly are, is just, I don't know, strange and not cool. The cool thing to do is to research every aspect of something so that you can hate it more effectively. Anyway, that energy seeping into this commercial and then being broadcast primarily, pretty much solely, to only sports fans is a recipe for disaster, because everyone in this commercial already hates Patrick Mahomes unless you're from Kansas City, and they probably don't have an affinity for Meghan Trainor to begin with, and now you made them hate Meghan Trainor, and the last thing to hate is State Farm Insurance, which, I mean, State Farm Insurance doesn't have a healthy lead on the competition. Everybody hates insurance companies, and State Farm just had one of the worst years ever in terms of of press for them. It just doesn't make any sense why you would do this for go sports ball joke. It's so weird. And then, like, why is no one clapping here at the end? It does make me think that the pitch or the internal logic is this is not the real Meghan Trainor. This is some conjured idea of a pop star that is represented as Meghan Trainor, who is cursed to be a trainer in this locker room, but can control things like a jester, like kind of a interdimensional being. It can control like lights and microphones and can spawn things and make magical things happen, but also can't be a good sports trainer. It feels like that's the internal logic, but what do I know?
You said you're in a new era where dudes are suddenly loving you because you're part of these commercials.
Dudes love me, my dude.
Yep.
Sports.
What the hell? It's insane how they will build entire lands and theme park rides and build infrastructure, buildings. They will have no interviews with anyone associated with some like media that is created in good faith. And then a 30-second commercial will have minutes worth of podcasts and interviews and articles dedicated to it because it was probably, this 30 seconds probably cost more than some movies this year did.
Sports. My boyfriend is one of them. The Patrick Mahomes commercial that you're doing.
Yes, State Farm. We love State Farm.
State Farm. We love State Farm. We do. Hey, let's check in on how they handled some of the natural disasters this year. Roll it.
This morning, the firestorm officials had feared becoming a reality, with a third out-of-control wildfire exploding overnight in the Los Angeles area.
At the end of the day, I mean, who's ready for something like this?
Dramatic video showing elderly patients being evacuated from a senior center. Hundreds of people try to get out. You can see flames here on both sides of the road.
Then started telling everybody, get out of your car, leave your car if you want to live.
I've been trying to get to my house for 5 hours.
The California Department of Insurance launched an investigation into State Farm's handling of the Eaton and Palisades fire claims.
Here, after a decline to renew 72,000 policies in California due to the wildfire.
They say because of issues with insurance, it's not clear when or how they'll be able to continue with their rebuild.
They've been accusing State Farm of delaying, denying, or underpaying claims.
Despite the total loss of his home, State Farm is offering about $400,000 less than their policy limit.
Farm Insurance is asking California lawmakers to approve an emergency rate hike.
The whole statement of like a good neighbor is not one that's true. State Farm is not a good neighbor.
It comes amid controversy surrounding a leaked undercover video of a now fired State Farm executive.
Seems like it's all orchestrated.
I mean, it kind of is, but not in the way that you would think.
Good neighbor. State Farm is there.
Cut. State Farm has just announced it's pulled its new Super Bowl commercial due to the devastating Los Angeles fire, featuring actors Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays an insurance agent saving pets from a family's home that's going up in flames.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yes, State Farm. We love State Farm.
I'm going to say what Meghan Trainor said when she walked in this room. I had no idea who Patrick Mahomes was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting the vibe that Meghan Trainor and I just wouldn't vibe comedically. And I've gotten that, for a while, because the only thing that I could say one nice thing about Meghan Trainor, she married Junie Cortez from Spy Kids. That is cool. But like the face that she makes after this of like not knowing who Patrick Mahomes is in this podcast, I just don't think we would vibe comedically, and that's okay. I think that's okay.
She said she ad-libbed the whole
thing. Listen, I read the first email and was like, who's that? And I called my brother because I knew it was a sports thing. I knew he would love it. And he goes, you don't understand how intense, how big this is. This is the coolest thing you've actually ever done your whole career. And I was like, will you come with me? Because I don't know what I'm walking into. And I practiced my lines. And then I got there and they were like, it's funnier when you freestyle. Like, just make this guy laugh.
I was right. Wow. Man, I'm good at this. I believe that. I believe that you made up some of those lines. And also, she has this sports ball mentality. She has the mentality that I just railed against and probably would have bitten my tongue about if I would have known that this is who she was off camera as well.
And I was like, all right. So I just kind of spoke my truth a little bit and was like, and you are? Like, who are you, sir? And then I was like, oh, he does the sports. And they kept all of that. And that was like the whole commercial. And I was like, oh, God.
So he does the sports.
Yeah. He does sports. Yeah.
How do you not know who Patrick Mahomes is? Megan, do you know who Travis Kelce is? Megan, do you know who Taylor Swift is? I don't even know. I don't know. Number 5, Kevin Hart and LeBron James for DraftKings. So I would like to reiterate that this list is not simply based on morality. I could easily fill the top 10 worst commercials of 2025 with sports gambling and gambling ads because I believe the selling and promotion of sports gambling, and especially the manner in which they promote sports gambling, is maybe one of the most nefarious products being advertised on a national level, and national media, mainstream media. I chose only one sports gambling ad to hone in on, as I did last year. Last year it was the Hard Rock Bet ads with Post Malone, and this year it is DraftKings with Kevin Hart and LeBron James. This campaign with these two have been going on for at least a year. The basic premise is Kevin Hart and LeBron James are friends, and they're going to be friends and promote DraftKings together. All of these ads seem to have a large improvisation component where Kevin Hart just tries to make LeBron James laugh, and it's supposed to be charming. It proves they're friends. They're talking about what bets they're going to place. And this year's ad is maybe the worst improvisation inclusion that I can prove, or at least can almost certainly say is improvisation, that made it from on set, where the lines were thought up in the moment by the actor, in this case Kevin Hart, to them being placed on a recurring national television ad. And last year they all took place in this pseudo home apartment type deal where it's LeBron's house, although I doubt it's actually LeBron's house. Kevin Hart is in LeBron's house, and they're hanging out and playing around. This year they're in some nondescript arena, it's like a practice field with the DraftKings logo in the end zone, and they are on director's chairs, and they're just fucking around. They're just messing around. We're just watching people mess around. They even did something with Letterboxd during this shoot, but they don't mention DraftKings, at least not in the video I saw, which is just so strange.
Soul Plane, Paper Soldiers, Think Like a Man, and Ride Along. Ride Along 1 and 2 combined.
You can't just do your movies.
Yes, I can.
The point is they showed up to set, they messed around, they hung out, and then got paid probably an ungodly amount of money to promote something that is itself is quite ungodly in sports gambling. I think what makes these commercials worse, outside of the actual content of the one I'm about to hone in on, is the fact that LeBron James is an active sports player. He's an athlete, a basketball player who you can bet on using the app that he is promoting. Unless there's some safeguard, I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. That you can open up DraftKings in the states that allow it, watch a basketball game with LeBron James in it. And maybe it's not allowed to air. They don't let that commercial air while he's playing. Maybe there's some regulation. I would hope. I doubt it, but I hope. But you could, on one channel, be seeing LeBron James and Kevin Hart telling you should go gamble on DraftKings, and in another one you can bet on the over-under on how many rebounds you think LeBron James is going to get. Like, that's how bad the sports betting has. And there's actually a scandal in the NBA, because the NBA is so easy to manipulate, far more easy than it is to manipulate pretty much anything else. I mean, basketball games they're far more frequent. The amount of attempts at any of the things you can bet on in apps, such as scoring or rebounds or assists, all these things have a high frequency, so it's a lot easier to manipulate. All of this stuff just is so manipulatable. And now they're coming out and saying, hey, guess what? This thing that is extremely profitable and extremely easy to manipulate, there's a chance that some people might be manipulating it. Oh, who would have thought? But even apart from that, I think it's absurd that you're allowed to bet on LeBron James. You're allowed to place a bet on LeBron James, the guy that's telling you to download the sportsbook and use it. The guy that's promoting the bonus bet. How is that allowed? How is that allowed? This commercial is specifically bad because, like all these ads, they're just fucking around. They're just messing around, wasting my time. They don't even have the decency of doing something interesting or making a good advertisement. It's just them. They just showed up, and now they handed them a football. They're gonna play with the football.
What's better than a great touchdown? 5 great touchdowns.
Jamal Charles was cooking.
Man, see, those are grown man touchdowns right there.
What is that supposed to mean? Grown man touchdowns. Tell me what it means, weird beard. You look like you're about to give out the Gettysburg Address.
So they're like, talk about a 5-touchdown game, which I guess the reason you're showing this is to be like, hey, who knows? You better bet the over, because sometimes people have a lot of touchdowns in a game. It's a thing that happens. So they're like, name a 5-touchdown game. They're like, well, Jamal Charles had a 5-touchdown game. And then LeBron is like, that's a grown man touchdown. And then Kevin Hart jumps into what I have to assume is improv, because if I swear to God, if somebody wrote this dialogue, he says, what's a grown man touchdown? What is that? And then this is his transition, and you can see the gears turning. You could see, it's like if you've ever seen a bad rap battle, there's a famous tweet, the guy that only freestyle raps about Patrick Swayze. It's like, things are getting hazy. Him trying to get to where he wants to go, but the path to get there is so transparently weird or generic, or in this case, just what? And you could tell he's come up with the punchline and is doing this improvisational freestyle rap path to get to the punchline. So let's watch it play out.
That's what it means, weird beard. You look like you're about to give out the Gettysburg Address. You got a log cabin? With that stovepipe hat? What's the spread, Brian? Is it 4 scores?
The starting point is his beard. And then he thinks Abraham Lincoln. And then he thinks 4 score. And then he thinks, what's the spread? That like you can want, it's like the dial-up sounds in his mind of like, I'm a comedian. And also he got paid what do we think conservatively $1 million for that terrible improv session. And I'm sure that he wasn't in the editing room saying, oh yeah, it's my best work, keep that. Like obviously he'd be like, oh, that's kind of lame, don't use that one, if it was up to him. But they were like, oh, it's good enough, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I'll just get paid and I'll leave and I'll just take a bunch of money. What's the spread? 4 scores. And then he like really leans into it, but in a way that he looks more proud of himself than he is like, I know this joke is bad. It doesn't seem like that he's admitting to the audience like, oh, this is a bad joke, haha. No, he's kind of leaning into it a little bit and being like, no, I think I kind of nailed it. Like, I know what I'm doing and I nailed it. And both of them laugh, and then the commercial ends and someone's life is ruined because they uses this code kicker and bet way too much, and they lost a house payment, or worse, the house, because of this ad, almost certainly. But wait, no, so I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. If you read down there, it says gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, and then it gives another phone number, or visit gamblinghelplima. What? gamblinghelplinema.org. Gamblinghelplinema. Gambling Helpline MA. I think Massachusetts? Yeah. gamblinghelplinema.org. And then at the bottom it says, please and then it's like, gambling problem? And it's like, well, we can talk to you about that. But then it says, oh, please gamble responsibly. And then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller print. And it says, please gamble responsibly. With just no care, no empathy, no worry. Just, we have to put this on here. I mean, imagine somebody sees, I mean, has this worked once? I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe it has. I don't want to say it's never worked once, but I guess maybe someone would pause at the end of this commercial and call that number. Or maybe just it's like the recognition that there is a gambling hotline because you see enough of these that it gets in your brain. But it just feels like, somebody made us do this, but left to our own devices, we would literally tell you, if you lose, that's weird, that shouldn't happen, everybody wins. Like, we would like run commercials and say everybody wins. Like they would do anything to make money. They just don't care. And by extension, it feels as though Kevin Hart and LeBron James don't care. I don't think that anybody is surprised that Kevin Hart likes money. I don't think that's a surprise. Nor LeBron James. I mean, they're just doing ads for DraftKings. Do you think they struggle with this internally? Do you think they worry? Do you think they think, maybe I shouldn't do this? Or is the money so great and so significant that a good person would say to themselves, it is irresponsible for me not to take this money and give it to charity? But I don't know. Do they give it to charity? How much do you think they got paid? $1 million at least for this 30 seconds? Like $1 million at least. That might be low. I hate it. 4 scores? Number 4, Amazon's new shorts for dad. So after doing so many of these that require so much context about celebrity culture or advertising trends or other campaigns, this one is refreshing in that it is just a single 30 seconds of absolute horror with no context necessary. This commercial, which is referred to as Amazon commercial number 8 in 2025, and who knows how that counting goes, at least on this commercial archivist YouTube, This is an advertisement referred to as New Shorts for Dad.
You're home for the holidays. You've dreamt of this moment, back in your old room. Oh.
Hey, kiddo, I'll be right there.
At least you can get a deal on New Shorts for Dad. Something with a little more coverage.
I feel like I need new eyes while mine are in the shop, because this is on the level, it's nearing the level of last year's #1 most hated commercial from me, which was the Apple iPhone kids listening to their parents have sex, but really they're just talking about the iPhone ad. And it's right up there for me with the most famous bad commercial, strange commercial of all time, the Folgers coffee incest commercial. This commercial is not as bad as those, for the most part, but it's still bad. This girl's coming home for the holidays. It's a picturesque scene, and then, whoa, her room from high school has been turned into the gym for her father. And the basic premise of this is this girl walks in and sees her dad's balls and stares at them for the middle 10 seconds of this commercial. I just like to watch this without sound, because I feel like sometimes you watch film without sound and it still tells a very compelling story. But without sound, in this case the narration, it's just this daughter ogling at her father wearing short shorts on the treadmill. When you think it's over, she just keeps staring. She gets like a last look and a nod. It goes on for 15 seconds, it feels like. I don't have anything clever to say. I don't have anything funny to say. I've had to suffer through this ad the entire holiday season. You're going to have to suffer through it as I continue to try to find words to describe why I don't like it. She gets that last look, she nods, there it is again. Let's play it one more time for posterity. This one's a short one. It deserves its place on the list. Let's watch it again. And the dad, I guess another part that frustrates me, if I have to talk more about this, is the dad's so sweet. And even if you take away the creepiness of just her, I mean, I'm looking at one screenshot right now and it's just like, wow, just her really just looking right at her dad's bottom. He's so sweet. He's like, I'll be right there, sweetie. And she's like, man, my dad's shouldn't be running in the comfort of his own home with whatever shorts he wants. He doesn't seem to have a problem with his shorts. You seem to have a problem with his shorts. And I guess that part frustrates me, but really it's just if you turn off the audio, the actual visuals of this is just long and uncomfortable and weird. And just like, she even like takes like a gasp there. It's almost like I think she's trying to do like, I'm about to throw up, but she's just like, it's just, and then she's like, there's this wide shot of her still looking, closes door, gives a nod, and finally walks away. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this ad. But there you go. I had to watch it a bunch, and if you had never seen it, now you did too. Number 3, the Capital One bank guy. Capital One, like most credit card companies, has a lot of different advertising campaigns. Most famously, they have the Samuel L. Jackson commercials. These commercials are pretty typical. Sometimes there's jokes, but it's really just him talking about how much he loves Capital One and how great Capital One is and how you should get your Quicksilver cash back or whatever credit card they're trying to infect the population with. And during March Madness, he'll be joined by Charles Barkley and Spike Lee, and they'll do skits together, and those are fine. I like those ads. They're seasonal. They only run for a few weeks. And it's funny to see those three guys together. They have a good rapport, and as far as credit cards ads go, those are some of the better ones.
Kermit, my man, you ready to fan out?
Yeah, I can't watch the game.
What happened?
She happened.
Cut the chit-chat, Frog! We got a show to do!
2 fingers. Yeah, back at you, bros.
See, that's a good Capital One commercial. It has Kermit in it, and I like that. Capital One also has some of my least favorite ads ever. And so the ones I want to talk about are the ones featuring the Capital One bank guy. But before I do that, I would like to talk about 2 other Capital One commercials that could have easily been in this spot, one of which is just horrific. It's so frustrating, and I can't believe they're still doing it, and it's devolving. And that is with John Travolta, and he usually plays Santa. Now, I can't tell if the reason they went with John Travolta and also have Samuel L. Jackson is a Pulp Fiction thing. And I think the joke is that he looks really weird. Oh, and then he does the Pulp Fiction dance. I remember that from the movie. And not that John Travolta hasn't been in a lot of famous movies, but he's been in 3 really famous movies: Pulp Fiction, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease. And this year, during Christmas, they did Grease. They'll break glass in case of emergency. I guess things aren't going too well.
It's Grease Lightning!
Grease the lightning!
Grease Lightning, you're burning up the quarter mile.
A recession indicator that John Travolta Santa does Grease Lightning in a Capital One commercial. It's worse than it sounds because it's a weird fake beard. And there's one where there's a Holiday Night Fever in 2023, but this year that they finally did it, they did the Grease Lightning like car scene. This is John Travolta as Santa Claus in a Capital One commercial singing Grease Lightning in reference to him being Santa greasing up his sleigh. This is the common theme of this year, it feels like, where if last year was confusion and strangeness and like off-kilter jokes that don't really work, this year it is the compounding of concepts. It's just too deep. We're in too deep. You have to know too many things about pop culture. It will make sense eventually, but it'll just leave you at the end of this trail of ideas saying, okay, I get it, but why? If you're gonna do Grease Lightning and you're gonna get John Travolta to do Grease Lightning, why not have him do that not as Santa Claus? The other set of commercials from Capital One that easily could have made this list, and I guess are in spirit considering I'm talking about them here, is the ones with Jennifer Garner. Now, Jennifer Garner is an actress that I like. I think she's very personable. She seems very nice, at least her persona seems very nice, so I'm stating that all up front so I can then talk about how much I dislike these commercials. Apparently, Jennifer Garner's been in them since, I'm finding one from 2016. I haven't seen this one. Let's watch this one first.
My dad called them up and asked for the Jennifer Garner card, which is such a dad thing to do. After he gave his name, the woman from Capital One said, "Mr. Garner, are you related to Jennifer?" kind of joking with him. And my dad was so proud to tell her, "As a matter of fact, she is my middle daughter." So now dad has the venture card. He's earning his double mile.
I do think it's really funny the way that she's talking about her dad so wistfully, as if he's, oh man, I miss him so much. I wish I was back home. And then he just awkwardly scoots onto screen from screen right. Okay, but that's not the one that I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking about Once Upon a Farm, which is her business. In this advertisement, she does not acknowledge, and her lower third, where it says Jennifer Garner, it does not acknowledge that she is a famous actress. They are positioning her as a small businesswoman, which I find extremely infuriating, especially as the commercial kind of like goes on. But there's no reference to the fact that, like, I'm Jennifer Garner. And despite the fact that I'm a rich celebrity who has been doing Capital One commercials for 8 years and does not need this, it's nice that my small business has, she doesn't need to obviously be derogatory, but some acknowledgement that this is not her whole job. And maybe it's just obvious because she's Jennifer Garner. For so many people that actually have small businesses, they see this and they're like, okay, but this isn't a small business because you're Jennifer Garner. By day, I'm actress Jennifer Garner, but I also do this. It's like, no, I'm a small business person. I'm like, no, you're Jennifer Garner. Then there's one that ups the ante even more, and that is the Capital One A League of Their Own commercial.
Are you crying? No. There's no crying in baseball or with the Capital One Venture card because...
When I saw this commercial initially, I had not seen the movie A League of Their Own. I haven't seen a lot of movies that people tell me to watch. I'm sure it's a great movie, but I hadn't seen that movie. And my assumption had to have been Jennifer Garner had a role in the movie A League of Their Own. She did not. She's also playing Tom Hanks' role in that movie, and there's no crying in credit cards. It's just, it's nonsense. It's nonsense that they're like, well, we're just gonna is it the anniversary of this movie? And if so, why not get somebody from the movie? And so it's like, well, no, it's just such an iconic scene that we're gonna recreate it. It's like, okay, but is Jennifer Garner going to recreate iconic scenes from several movies? No, there's no other movie that I've seen, no other commercial where Jennifer Garner is like put into the movie. So it is just a one-off, random left field, baseball pun, League of Their Own reference that no one from the movie is in, just to sell credit card. It just makes me furious. This year, you know, I don't want to be rude because it really just makes me upset. Her facial expressions make me upset, and it's just kind of that, like, I just don't like it. I just don't want to be too rude, but maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about here.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that...
This is all green screen. Maybe the reason I don't like it is because it's fake, because this is not, like, look at the face she makes to that hiker, and then it's so unnatural. She's like, oh, whoa, and the hiker's like, whoa. Green screen, real shot. Green screen, real shot. That doesn't look like a real shot either. Then it's somebody else. So wait, is this ad? Is that what it is? And maybe I'm just completely wrong, but is it that she's always on a green screen and everyone else is like in a drone shot and they get like a body double for her? Well, she went to the luxury hotel. That might be the only one we didn't green screen is her at the luxury hotel. The rest, all the hiking and the windy roads, that was the body double. But the luxury hotel, you know, that was an on-set day maybe. Taylor Swift has done a lot of Capital One commercials, which I think is great. Credit cards are great. I love credit cards, and I think it's awesome when people promote them. Please don't come after me, Swifties. I'm sure she needs the money. Can you believe that despite talking about all these commercials that I hate from Capital One, none of these commercials made the list? The one that made the list is the Capital One Bank Guy. Now, the Capital One Bank Guy has been around for a bit, but he was not called the Capital One Bank Guy. And this is a good transition into the Capital One Bank Guy, because if the main theme of this year's commercials is that this is this compounding vortex of pop culture and references, the other theme that goes right along with that is the buying into their own hype. We are going to treat the Geico Gecko as if he is famous. And the Geico Gecko in those commercials grapples with the fact that he is famous. In the Capital One Bank Guy commercials in 2025, the Capital One Bank Guy is now famous as the Capital One Bank Guy. His name is Jeremy Brandt. He is known for his long-running role in Capital One commercials where he lives and works... Oh, I'm reading AI. Fuck. So he has becometh the Capital One Bank Guy. He acts as this sort of anonymous, forgettable spokesperson, like a classic spokesperson. He's a nice, attractive guy telling you about Capital One. But anyways, as with everything, it can't just be a guy who's a normal guy who tells you why Capital One doesn't have overdraft fees and that means they're the better banking option for you. It has to be some weird, new age, meta, contextual, end times take on this character. And he's not a character. He's never been a character. He's like a narrator that you can look at. That's essentially what it is. It's not a character. It's not a performance. It's a narrator that you can look at by a guy that I'm sure has a lot of credits. It looks like he has a lot of credits in like Law and Order and like Criminal Minds. I'm sure he's maybe been on once or twice. That type of actor that does those types of gigs. Because, of course, we can't just have something simple. It has to be 3 layers on top of itself and also eating itself and devouring the fabric of space and time. They've rebranded him to the Capital One Bank Guy. And this is insidious, and it makes me furious because not a single soul on earth thought about this guy. Period. He was just a guy on TV when you weren't watching telling you about Capital One. This just gaslighting is this idea that the Capital One guy was either so attractive or so interesting or so beloved by all of our audiences and people worldwide that he has become commonly known by the public, of course, you know this, as the Capital One Bank Guy. That's what you're calling him, right? I mean, you can't stop talking about this guy, but he doesn't have a name. So it's like when people talk about him, they call him the Capital One Bank Guy. So that's what we started calling him too. But that premise is bullshit because there is no Capital One Bank Guy. No one made that reference. So it's this weird gaslighting where they want you to basically buy into a hype that they're convincing you that you made. it's just this false reality they're trying to construct where the Capital One bank guy became his own thing. I mean, the people love our stuff, love our product so much. Some of this stuff just spirals out of control, and we didn't even have time to give him a name, and now everybody loves him. And oh man, everybody's asking for the Capital One bank guy. And if you think like, okay, well, just because they call him that doesn't mean that the ads are about him being famous as the Capital One bank guy, beloved, universally adored as the Capital One bank guy, except for this year, that's what they are about.
Any questions?
How did you become the Capital One bank guy?
Do you mind? I've always been passionate about no fees or minimums on checking accounts.
How do I get your job?
So one of the worst offenders in this run of ads is one where he is on stage at a bring your father to, or it's a career day. It's not a bring your, he's not canonically anyone's father. It is career day. And Derek Jeter, the New York Yankees baseball player, a real life astronaut, and the Capital One bank guy are on stage together. The premise of this ad is that Derek Jeter and the astronaut can't get a word in because all the kids and the adults, they just want to know more about the Capital One bank guy. That is the premise of the ad. Do you understand how this is weird, backwards, looping, meta gaslighting at this point? It's weird. He takes the baseball bat from Derek Jeter, which already, wow, fuck you. He takes the baseball bat from Derek Jeter as if it's a talking stick, and then he starts talking about Capital One. Strangely, and this is my first time watching this to like dissect it, there's an ATM in the background. Like he brought it to career day, which I think is supposed to be a joke, although it's never brought up or really like honed in on. So I'm going to choose to believe that that is the joke, and that in the world of this commercial, he dragged an ATM into career day, which, fair's fair, that's funny.
What's been the highlight of your career?
And that'd have to be
bank guy.
Helping people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Aren't you in the Hall of Fame?
And didn't you live in space?
What's in your wallet?
Well, the Capital One bank guy is so famous to these kids and to these adults that Derek Jeter's overshadowed, that an astronaut is overshadowed. That is the joke of the premise. But what remains is this idea that the Capital One bank guy exists, he's beloved, and maybe we'll stretch it a bit to say he's more beloved than Derek Jeter. But it's not up for debate whether this person is now a character, a mascot, and it is trying to convince you that this was because of the demand of the public. That if you don't love this guy, it's you that's out of the loop.
Whoa, it's the Capital One bank guy.
That's me.
There you go. End of argument. Whoa, it's Capital One bank guy. That's me. Is it not crazy that in the same, there's something going on. They know something that they're not telling us. They know they've found a strategy. Somebody is selling a course somewhere. Some consulting company figured out they need to hype up the mascots as celebrities more and make them personalities even more than they already are. Because you're telling me that in the year 2025, we have 2 commercials with 2 different mascots of 2 different companies, both of which the premise is, I want a selfie with the mascot? Like it's just so, I've already said it 1,000 times. It's a black hole. It's a cultural black hole.
Ooh, that's a keeper.
So, what do you do outside of the Capital One Cafe?
What do you mean?
Like when you go home or...
Almost as a reference to the fact that this guy is not a character. He has no characterization. He has no backstory. He has no personality. He has nothing at all. The joke now is, what do you do when you're not being a Capital One bank guy and he just sleeps in the Capital One cafe? So they've established and put into concrete that while this man is famous and everybody loves him, and I don't need to tell you how much everybody loves Capital One, and especially the Capital One bank guy, it's also canon that he has no life. He has no prospects. He has no ambition. He has no wants or needs or motivations. He lives in Capital One. The only way that I would support this type of surrealism and sell credit cards at the same time is if every Capital One location in the country had a guy that looks even ballpark like this guy, because it doesn't need to look exactly. You're not going to be able to tell them apart. The usual suspects lineup is indistinguishable from each other. That calls himself the Capital One bank guy and sleeps in the bank, and that you can go and see him there. And he's like, hey, I'm the Capital One bank guy. And I do like the acting performance. I don't think Jeremy Brandt's like a bad actor, that he's not good as a generic spokesperson, because the look he gives here is one of absolute panic when he realizes he's never considered leaving the bank. And the last commercial from the Capital One Bank guy was one that aired at the end of the year, where Sam Jackson from the credit card commercials, this is a crossover. It's a crossover commercial, everybody. Sam Jackson is just waxing poetic, literally reading a poem about how awesome the Capital One Bank guy is.
Have you heard the story that's about a guy who lives in a bank?
And then the Capital One Bank guy's like listening to the story that's about him, and the way he very slow, I mean, again, it's good acting. The way he slowly sets down the tray of cookies as to not disturb the story that is about him. Good acting performance mixed with a ton of ego, mixed with gaslighting. I mean, it is a spectacle, but it's terrible. That's why it's so high up on this list.
It's where the Capital One Bank guy says, "What's in your wallet?"
It is quite the sight to behold. The other thing this year that I've noticed, and this is true, I guess, of last year and probably the last few years if I actually went back, is they're doing a lot of unique vertical ads. They're filming these maybe on real cameras, but they want them to appear as though they're iPhones. Like, they want them to appear as content, probably so they fit in like an Instagram Reels or a TikTok feed, and it takes you a second to realize, like, oh, this is a commercial, rather than you seeing it immediately as a commercial, which is almost certainly the case. But here's one of a POV. You meet the Capital One Bank guy.
Whoa, it's the Capital One Bank guy.
That's me.
Could we get a selfie?
Of course.
Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
And it's so weird because this is clearly not shot on an iPhone. And it's like, why do this? Like, they cannot fathom a middle ground where it's like, guys, if you're trying to make this look like on an iPhone, shoot it on an iPhone. But because they would say, well, the colorist said not to do that. And it's like, who gives a shit what the colorist said? Shoot it on an iPhone and don't color it, because why would you color it? Make it look like it's on an iPhone. It's like, well, that's not how we do things. And now how we do things is we just prompt it, and now it's just an AI. It's like they never found a way to do this in reasonably. It was either by the book, the 700 steps it takes to make sure an airplane is ready for takeoff, or just generate the whole thing. There's no middle ground, it feels like. Even though these all suck and nobody wants to watch them, and they're annoying and unfunny and unnatural and unreal and everything that's wrong. But again, I guess at least they're made by a human. Like, somebody got paid to like point a camera at the shit, which is the new low bar to hurdle in today's age. I found the Capital One Bank guy, Jeremy Brandt, as himself on a podcast talking about Capital One. Let's see if he has any hot takes.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, I love it. I've been doing this 21 years, and
He's been doing this 21 years? He's been doing this since 2004? If he's been doing this for over 20 years, maybe he's earned the right to be a character. Or maybe not. I don't know, actually.
And when I started, I just thought, like, I'll try it for a year. It's something I kind of want to do. And
you're talking about acting.
Yeah, acting. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Dude, this guy on the podcast thought exactly how I did. Yeah, I've been doing this for 21 years, and I started it, thought, oh yeah, this is nice. And the guy's like, what do you mean you've been the Capital One spokesperson for 21 years? And he was like trying to do the math, and he's like, how's that even possible? What?
Last couple of years, they've just gone to a year. They've got us on the cycle with, Jen Garner and stuff like that. So they can all negotiate. Everybody's at the same time.
Oh, cool.
And
they got on this cycle with Jen Garner, and we can all negotiate at the same time. It's like when you hear about the Friends cast all banded together to make sure everyone was paid the same for the final season. But it's the Capital One Bank guy, Jennifer Garner, and Samuel L. Jackson together be like, look, we don't want any of us, they're looking around, they don't know. We don't want any of us to get shortchanged here. When who knows who that would be of the three of us. But we're not going to let it happen. We're a family. I mean, the Capital One Bank guy seems very humble, seems like a really nice person that knows how fortunate he is to have this gig.
How many commercials were you doing a year prior to that?
It goes up and down, right. But I would say between 10 to 15, I would say. Yeah,
hell, good
it was
for
good.
You, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to this guy for getting that gig. No, I mean, other than the fact that it's for a credit card, I mean, what a gig. Good for him. He seems like he treats people well, I would hope. He says he does. So I like when people emphasize that. So whatever. Good for him. Number 2, T-Mobile's Zoe Saldana ads. This is as much a series of annoying and frustrating advertisements as it is a curiosity, a kind of study into celebrity personality and the positioning of a celebrity in different environments. Zoe Saldana is a very great actress who is also a very successful actress, especially in terms of box office numbers. I'd have to imagine that she's right up there with Scarlett Johansson in terms of just pure box office gross. She's been in Avatar, Marvel, the original Pirates of the Caribbean. She's been in a lot of extremely successful movies, and in my opinion, she's done great performances in a lot of successful movies. She recently won an Academy Award for Emilia Perez, which I only know from the memes, and I'm assuming that it would not be my cup of tea, but I've not heard great things, but she won an Academy Award. I heard she was good in it. I don't know. All this is to say, Zoe Saldana, I have no issue with her as an actress or as a talent. The strangeness comes with these commercials that are trying to position her as a spokeswoman or spokesperson, a personality that can sell you T-Mobile. That is where this becomes very uncanny, because there are certain celebrities, Jimmy Fallon, for instance, where their performance in film, in television, on SNL, the thing that they are known for being, the I'm Jimmy Fallon, I'm going to be Jimmy Fallon, works perfectly for a commercial. You just take that guy from Weekend Update, and then instead of having him tell jokes about the news, have him talk about products that we want to sell, and it's just one-to-one. Zoe Saldana's acting, while I would not call her one note by any means, and I think she has a good range from just what I've seen, it is not advertiser friendly. Gamora would have to be a character in a commercial, not a spokesperson. She doesn't have that default I'm playing myself. In fact, she disappears into her roles. So to put her in these T-Mobile ads where she is supposed to be herself as a happy, excited spokesperson selling you T-Mobile results in a strange, uncanny performance that feels very fake, very unnatural, and very put on, and then therefore makes the advertisements very strange and a little bit annoying. The reason these are so high up on the list is because of just the, what I would call, irredeemable nature. Even some of the other commercials we've looked at so far, I can point to things that I've liked or things that I could understand or parts of the campaign that are good or aspire to be funny. There is not a lot redeemable about the Zoe Saldana T-Mobile commercials. These started a couple years ago, and the original premise in 2023, I believe, is that she does not sell products and that she can do it. And she's putting on this super happy-go-lucky, you can do it, you can be a spokesperson for T-Mobile, which is not a very appealing positioning. This one, for instance, let me look up one from 2023.
Whoa, the new iPhone 15. With that amazing camera, I wish my family had them.
Zoe, you're an action star. Take action. Join T-Mobile and get 4 new iPhone 15s on them and 4 lines for $25 a line.
With that camera, I'll be sharing pics from the slopes. You do not want to see yourself skiing. Yeah, I'm good at skiing. Your stunt woman is.
It's a strange thing because maybe this is who she is. And if this is who she is when she's not on camera, I don't think so though, because I've seen her
I'm known lately as somebody that likes to journal a lot. And then my husband just gave me this one, and he's very Italian and very chic.
To do my due diligence, I'm now watching just Zoe Saldana as herself, and she is nothing like the character of herself that she is playing in these T-Mobile ads, which makes me feel far more justified in criticizing this characterization of her. Because in normal interviews, it's what I suspected. She's just a normal person. She's normal. She's just a normal person. But in these commercials, they're so weird. So the first one of this campaign that I remember seeing this year was for the iPhone 17 Pro. Let's watch it.
T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro.
Hold on. Is this big enough? We should have music, lights, banners. I mean, you gotta feel it. Get the most powerful iPhone ever on the best network. I should dance.
Get fired up.
So in this commercial, she starts talking normal, like a normal person, and then it says, "What are we doing? I love T-Mobile. Let's dance." And it's this big, weird performance. I don't know, maybe she's excited to be wacky, but the wackiness comes across very unnatural, very put on, and very annoying. I mean, I hate to be mean, but it's pretty ubiquitous that this is just, agreed upon annoying ad. What's the joke? Because this isn't funny. So the joke is that, what do you mean? What am I doing here telling you about T-Mobile? Let me get up and scream it at the rooftops. Well, that's not a joke. There's no attempt at a joke there. So if it's not a joke and it's not funny, it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me excited. It doesn't feel momentous. It just feels weird. I'm trying to understand the thought process behind these commercials, other than you plug Zoe Saldana into a spreadsheet or into a computer and you say, how much is just the box office draw and the success and all these things make it make sense that anything with her for 30 seconds is a slam dunk, is a home run. We're lousy with cash after just featuring her in a commercial. And I don't even know if celebrity culture is at the point, except for maybe Taylor Swift, that anyone has the star power to just be in a commercial and that be it. Taylor Swift definitely. Anyone else, I don't know. We don't need jokes. We don't need premises. This is about the shooting of a T-Mobile commercial, but then Zoe Saldana stops the commercial and then stands up and grabs the camera and says, we got to shout it from the rooftops. We need more. It's strange. It's strange. So then it gets weirder because other characters start coming into the mix as well. Here's another one.
Santa, did you get my letter?
Oh, I'm not. Elf? Elf? I'm 6'3". You want your family to go to T-Mobile, where you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. Awesome cameras, epic display, right, Mrs. Claus?
Actually, I'm her much younger sister. Also, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-in needed when you switch. Dude.
Yeah.
Not you.
You have Zoe Saldana and you think, okay, if we had to have a trio, because we're obviously killing it, this is the most successful thing we've ever done as T-Mobile, we need to expand. So what do we do next? Well, the obvious next step is adding some more people to these commercials. Let's have them be a trio. Who would be fun to see with Zoe Saldana? What would make the audience at home say, wow, I was already in. I was like 100% in with the Zoe Saldana ads, but the fact that you added these two people gave it a totally different angle. It was so cool seeing them together. It was, it makes sense. It's funny. Well, I know I'm not going to stop you. The ones you're thinking of, the obvious two people you would pair with Zoe Saldana are Jeff Bridges and Drewski. Jeff Bridges, actor, Big Lebowski, a lot of movies. Drewski, YouTube, TikTok, comedian. I don't know Drewski. I've seen Drewski around, but I don't know Drewski. This is the strangest trio they could possibly have come up with. And the reason they're together is because they're friends in the universe of these T-Mobile ads. And it's specifically for Christmas. So here's one where Jeff Bridges comes.
To learn how to be in a T-Mobile iPhone commercial,
Morning, dude.
Jeff Bridges moved in with Zoe Saldana. But mostly, they just played with the new iPhone 17 Pro.
Okay. So I'm trying to keep up. They're throwing a lot at me here in this 15 seconds. Again, Zoe Saldana, they said Zoe Saldana, but I've heard Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana, her gimmick is she's trying to learn how to be in a iPhone commercial. She needs to learn how to do it for some reason in this meta strange way. That's the conflict. That's the in. Zoe Saldana wants to be an iPhone spokesperson for T-Mobile because she's just so passionate, but she doesn't know how. So then they double down on this concept and say, well, Zoe Saldana's figured it out. Everyone agrees. Jeff Bridges has moved into Zoe Saldana's house so he can also learn how to be in a T-Mobile commercial. And then they said, but then they mainly just played with the iPhone and took a selfie. I know there's probably a 30-second version of this ad. Maybe I could find it. In the 15-second version, it's just fast nonsense. Here's the 30 seconds.
Morning, guys.
Why is Jeff Bridges here?
I'm studying to be in a T-Mobile commercial. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's the most pro iPhone yet.
So you can't teach that. Or can you? You can save up to 20% versus the other big guys. And see...
Yeah, I don't have anything funny to say because this is just so end of times meta. The trend has continued. The Geico Gecko is done with being famous. And the Capital One Bank guy is a big deal, and everyone agrees he's a big deal, and you're out of the loop if you don't agree that he's a big deal. And now I'm watching a commercial where Zoe Saldana and Jeff Bridges are learning to be in the commercial they're in, and then they get to do 2 commercials for me to see if I think they nailed the commercial that they're already in. And then my brain just melts into a puddle and starts coming out my ears, and I just sit there and I just buy T-Mobile. I don't understand, how did we get here? Why don't you just tell me to buy something?
Is that on iPhone 17? I switched to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
You get a new iPhone 17 on them with its awesome camera, and they'll even deliver it the same day.
Switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes. Get a new iPhone 17 on us with same-day delivery.
Why am I wearing a tutu?
Why am I wearing a tutu? Jeff Bridges has gotten more mileage out of the Big Lebowski and the dude character than maybe anyone has gotten mileage out of anything. It is like Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Bean level. You can just do it. Just do that character and just forever. It doesn't have any sort of sadness to it, apparently. It's just, people are just so thrilled. I will say that they also did this strange pairing with Zach Braff and Donald Faison, who are in Scrubs, and then of course the third person to create that trio. Is it John C. McGinley? Is it Sarah Chalk? Is it Judy Rice? Is it anyone that was in Scrubs? No, it's Jason Momoa. Here he is. They're friends. They're neighbors. It's Jason Momoa. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Buy product, or who cares if you don't? We'll find a way to charge you for it. You. It's just whatever we want it to be. You. Like, that's just how it feels.
Hello?
You got the job. Chief Switching Officer. Are you ready?
I've been ready since I made the switch. Woo! Well, let's get to work!
A day ago, T-Mobile, this is 2026, but a day ago, Drewski has a new ad from T-Mobile, 544 views. I'm in the first 1,000. Somebody else already commented first. But it's Drewski who gets a call from T-Mobile, and his agent's like, "You got the job. Are you ready?" But if the job is that he's going to speak for T-Mobile ads, I already know that he does that because I've seen the T-Mobile ads that he's in already. So I don't really understand what the job would be. Maybe he is taking, I don't know. I've already seen him in the commercials. I don't know. It just feels strange. It feels subtly nonsensical, like a lot of these ads do. And it just shows to me the necessity and almost the desperation for so many celebrities to have this mode. How valuable it is for Zoe Saldana to have this mode that she can just sell any product with just giving her full self to it. Like the Zoe Saldana just being herself that she needs to develop, as every actress, every actor, anyone does in this industry apparently, is develop that mode that allows you to full force, without shame, sell anything. Everyone just needs the ability to just sell, which is very new. I mean, celebrity ads is a new concept. It was not the case 20 years ago that celebrity ads were as prominent as they are now, mainly because celebrities used to make a lot more money than they do now, absent of the advertisements, because of the box office and television royalties and all of these things that have now gone away. So these actors and actresses, in order to live this extremely nice lifestyle, need to take these commercials to sustain that lifestyle in a way that the actors of the 90s and the 80s didn't need to do. That said, it's weird and strange and I don't like it. And it's pretty high up there on my list because I don't know what's redeeming about these ads. And it seems pretty ubiquitous that these ones really make people upset. I don't know that they engender hatred in me or vitriol, but they're just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Number 1. The Billy Bob Thornton T-Mobile ads. So I'm going to be honest, when I was ordering my list of top 10 worst commercials, a lot of these slots were variable. I could see swapping 6 and 7 or 4 and 5. It wasn't necessarily set in stone. You can probably swap a few of these commercials and the order would still be correct. The exception to this is my number 1 slot, because I despise the current Billy Bob Thornton T-Mobile campaign. I'm going to try not to have so much vitriol at the jump and ease you into why I dislike these ads so much, but it's going to take a little bit of context. So if you don't know, Billy Bob Thornton is an actor. He has been in a lot of famous films and television shows, but he is best known right now for his role on the television series Landman. With my main channel content, I really like doing deep research and trying to understand a topic inside and out, trying to get the nuance and the intricacies of the subject, to do it justice, and also to fight against my own personal biases in the hopes of telling a story that is true and documentary while still having a perspective. But I have never seen the television show Landman, and I will not be watching an episode of the television show Landman for this rant. So I might get something wrong, but from my perspective as somebody that has never seen and refuses to watch the television show Landman, it appears that, based on the clips that have appeared on my various social media feeds, it's mainly oil propaganda and ogling at canonically underage women, which not really my preferred media to watch in my free time. That said, the success of the show Landman and the praise for Billy Bob Thornton's performance in that show is directly related to him getting this T-Mobile campaign. And I could go frame by frame in every one of these commercials, and we will, but before I say anything else, we just need to start playing the first one.
For years, everyone thought Verizon had the best network, because they did. But now the best mobile network in the U.S. is T-Mobile. Some fancy experts finished a network test, and T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop-up.
Already I'm overwhelmed with thoughts about what they've put to screen here. Billy Bob Thornton, let me just say, I do not have a lot of familiarity with him as an actor or as a person. I've seen Sling Blade, I do like them French fried potatoes, and I've seen Bad Santa, maybe clips from Bad Santa, but I'm not a Billy Bob Thornton fan or hater. I just don't know much about him. What I do know, if anything, if I had to pull something out of the pop culture ether, it is that he wears weird hats and bandanas, but not country hats and country bandanas. And I think he's from Arkansas. I'm sure, I did a little bit of research. I'm sure that he has country roots, and maybe he's played a lot of country western out in the open field roles. But to me, he's just a Hollywood actor, and he kind of dresses like a weird Hollywood actor and is fashionable, and he is not this. There's only one button on the flannel, which such an interesting choice, because this is usually how you would button a suit jacket when you want. You got 2 buttons on a suit jacket, maybe 3, but he's done that with a flannel, which I've never seen that before. It just doesn't seem like him as a person. It seems as though it is a mixture of Billy Bob Thornton, the person, and the character that he plays on the show Landman, whose name I have to assume is Billy Landman. This character, this country character, it just assaults this ad campaign. Let's go frame by frame.
For years, everyone thought Verizon had the best network, because they did.
So he's walking down a dirt road. The grass hasn't been mowed, it's overgrown. This is the kind of road that is all around the place I grew up in Kansas. I mean, this is just a country setting. He's walking on his own toward nothing, just toward camera. And he looks like he's been walking for some time, and in his hand is an iPhone. And the first thing he says is, now, you might be thinking that Verizon has the best network, because for a long time they did. And it's that type of, I'm gonna shoot you straight, because I think that's the idea here. It is clearly targeted toward middle America, Midwest, Southern, just that kind of what would be considered country, the non-location specific, but the concept of rural is who they are trying to get on these T-Mobile plans. The higher point of these commercials is that T-Mobile can now reach rural areas. So it makes sense as we have a larger network that can now reach places that these people probably have always thought, well, T-Mobile doesn't have service in my area. And the message we're trying to give them is it actually does now. Here's what I'll say. It makes sense. These commercials, everything they do makes sense, but it is infuriating and condescending in the way that you can just so blatantly, transparently see their intentions. It probably works, which is condescending of me to say, on the target audience, but it just feels so gross. So again, he shoots you straight and says Verizon used to have the best network.
But now the best mobile network in the U.S. is T-Mobile. Some fancy experts finished.
Man, whoever composited this, it was a deadline job, did not get paid. The burnt the cattle prodding on the hay barrel look of the hay barrels he's about to pass is terrible. Like, it doesn't even track very well. Like, if you slow it, you can like you can see it like moving. Like, and it's strange the way that it kind of crosses the barrels, and it looks like they might have smoothed it out a little bit. But what he's saying is far more egregious than the composition here.
But now the best mobile network in the U.S. is T-Mobile. Some fancy experts finished a network test.
This is the first sin, let's call it a sin, of this ad. He says, some fancy experts did some sort of speed test. It is this thing of like the people we're trying to sell to, they don't believe in experts. They don't believe in scientists. If they hear that somebody in a lab on the coast is doing something, their mind goes to some, deep conspiracy. They cannot trust an expert. So Billy, what we need you to do is we need you to both emphasize the fact that the experts did say we won this test, while also dismissing their credibility by calling them fancy experts, like, get a load of these nerds and charlatans selling snake oil trying to get me as part of Big Phone. But I will say that while these people are part of a grander conspiracy to track us forever and poison our water supply, I have to hand it to them. They got it absolutely right. They said T-Mobile's the best network. So even though these people are sinful freaks, some evil people out there, I gotta tell you that when they did their speed test, these fancy experts that should be in jail probably, these horrid people in one of these crazy Ivy League universities that we should be shutting down, I got to hand it to them. They done the test and they said T-Mobile's the best, and that's right, because they're the ones that are paying me to say this.
Some fancy experts finished a network test, and T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop-up.
And T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop-up I'm smiling and laughing because I don't want to come across as a psychopath, because if I told you how frustrated the phrase T-Mobile sort of opened up a can of whoop-up makes me, there's no way for me to tell you how I actually feel about that in a way that you would come out of it thinking I'm reasonable or someone that could be respected or someone that is measured, because it irks me in so many ways. T-Mobile sort of opened up a can of whoop-up. It infuriates me. Like the fact that he can't say whoop ass on, obviously, but why the compromise of him saying T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop up. It's just like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't we just say T-Mobile won the test? Well, hold on now. That don't make no sense to the people of real America. We got to tell them that Verizon Wireless failed them, and the T-Mobile opened up a can of whoop up. And then I laugh and I say, oh my God, you're telling me that they put Verizon and they put that T-Mobile, they put them in the ring together, and everybody, it's just, fuck off. I fucking hate this. It pisses me off so much. The T-Mobile sort of, because I can't just say the experts were right. I gotta say sort of. They sort of. I don't really know. They claim to be experts. So-called experts, some fancy experts. I don't know about them. I wouldn't trust anything anybody says ever, unless it was me. Pulling things out of my ass, doing my own little tests in my backyard. But besides that, they sort of said, they might have said something in the realm of that T-Mobile might have opened up a can of whoop-up. It's just like, wouldn't you feel insulted if you were clearly the target audience for this? It's lazy. It's saying they don't care. They just need us to just basically get close to their opinions. We got to shoot them straight a little bit. It's just so transparent in their intentions and just the level of intelligence they feel that rural America has, that this would work. Now, later on, I will say that I don't want to call rural America easily persuaded and stupid, but we're not done. There's more to this.
T-Mobile's network has the most advanced 5G, with more towers, and their signal reaches further than ever.
More towers. Great work. We just hit multiply. We just put more towers. We opened up After Effects, and we tracked this. We used Mocha AE built in, and then we just hit multiply on more towers. Look at that. Look at that.
So you can text and Insta-talk and say, you won't believe where I am. Seriously, where am I? Hey, I got signal.
Text and Insta-talk. Billy Bob Thornton, let's look up Billy Bob Thornton's net worth. Billy Bob Thornton has a net worth of $45 million. Look up Billy Bob Thornton's house. We got something here. Taste of Country. Billy Bob Thornton buys a $3.1 million estate in the California hills. Wait a minute. Wait, huh? The actor, director, and musician has just purchased a stunning new estate in the California. I don't think I'm reading that right. It should say Texas, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. But it says California. That has to be a typo on tasteofcountry.com. Oh God, the kind of things I'm going to get recommended after getting on this website. That's strange. I thought Billy Bob Thornton was a down home country guy. I thought he would live in a small shack in the middle of nowhere, but apparently he is buying a $3.1 million. So my point is, Billy Bob Thornton has a net worth of $45 million. He has just bought a $3.1 million estate in the California hills. He knows what texting is. You can Insta-talk.
So you can text and Insta-talk.
You could text and Insta-talk. I don't even know what them are coming out over Silicon Valley. I know I get a little Louisiana when I do my southern accent. I don't even know what they're coming up with out of Silicon Valley, but apparently the hard part is with politics nowadays, the down home country rural folk, Silicon Valley, those people that run that place, those are great. Invite them into your backyard. Let them run their data center. Those places are a thumbs up. That's the American way. Don't forget. But 2 years ago, everyone was on the same page that Silicon Valley, these people that are pushing these tech products onto us, Insta-talk, what are they coming up with next? Anyways, I did vote for the data center to be out back. They said they wouldn't use too much of my water. Even though I think that that's already condescending, that these people can't even trust experts, that we can't even tell you that we won the mobile war. We can't even tell you that we won the speed test, because how dare a fancy expert get a word in when I'm trying to be all country.
And their signal reaches further than ever. So you can text and Insta-talk and say, you won't believe where I am. Seriously, where am I? Hey, I got signal.
Hey, I got signal. This is a different version of the same ad.
So go on, send your little texts and snapograms and Insta-talks and all that stuff.
See, this has to be like part of his character from Landman. Like, does he not understand tech because he's an oil man? Or does that phone there run off a good American oil? Snapograms, Insta-talk. He's adding new things to dismiss. I found new ways to come up with new phrases to dismiss this whole tech revolution that's been going on for literally 20 years now.
So go on, send your little texts and snapograms and Insta-talks and all that stuff from just about anywhere and tell them.
He kind of trips there for a second. It looks like he trips. Maybe he's not used to walking on a gravel road because he's not real country. Again, I'm not trying to be like take away this guy's rural badge as if it's a license that can be revoked. But at the end of the day, you can't tell me that he's this, like, you're like, hey, Billy, I want to send you something on Instagram. And he's like, I don't know about all them Snapogram, phonograph, telemanundo. I mean, come on. So obviously, this commercial must have done numbers. This commercial, despite its condescension, despite its pandering, despite everything about it that I've already talked about, must have sent shockwaves through the mobile carrier industry and must have just unilaterally won a group of customers and had caused some sort of actual shift, because I kid you not, AT&T released a response parody with Luke Wilson. Okay, now again, this is strange. Luke Wilson is the brother of Owen Wilson. I think of Owen Wilson. I don't care where they're from. I'm not even going to look at it. Let's look up, where's Owen Wilson from? So Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson are from Texas as well. But Owen Wilson reads more to me as California. Maybe I've just seen him in roles where he's played like a surfer type. But in general, he's just American. He's not regionally specific. Luke Wilson dabbles more into that southern country atmosphere, at least in my mind, although I've also seen him play just completely normal roles like his brother. But I guess if you need to get someone, Billy Bob Thornton, they've acquired him. They have a weapon. His name is Billy, but they've gotten Landman. What's our response? As AT&T, I guess you go find Luke Wilson to shoot an identical commercial to the Billy Bob Thornton one, but to promote AT&T rather than T-Mobile. It gives the vibe that the T-Mobile ads were such a game changer in terms of a mobile network specifically pandering to rural America that everyone scrambled to find a response. It's like, we need our own Billy Bob Thornton. Well, what about Luke Wilson? It's like, good enough. Let's go. Get him out there. Get him in the middle of a field. Let's watch it.
AT&T's been carrying America's calls since 1876. When you've been around that long, you can spot a hustle coming from a mile away.
A hustle coming from a mile away. Okay, do you see how he's putting on a country accent? From a mile away. Like, I've seen you in like old school. You didn't talk like this. Were you suppressing your accent in those movies, or are you putting on one now?
T-Mobile is the master of breaking promises.
Do you see that? So like then a tumbleweed comes and he grabs it, and in the tumbleweed is a newspaper that says T-Mobile deceptive ads. Which again, not only the fact that you're doing a straight ripoff, a parody, a one-to-one recreation of the ad with Billy Bob Thornton that is still airing. Not only that, you are now saying, look, please don't listen to T-Mobile's ads, because apparently the Billy Bob Thornton ones must have had so much success that it required this response and literally just staring the audience straight in the face and saying, I know that you're about to see a Billy Bob Thornton ad. You're at least 2 ad blocks away from seeing it, but I beg of you, please do not trust T-Mobile. Please. It's like this crazy desperation, because if that ad was not doing numbers and stealing customers and making a shift happen in the industry, why would you go so far as to boost it? This parody is cementing that ad as a success, because you're just by giving it this much lip service. It's nuts.
While T-Mobile stays caught up in untruths, AT&T keeps building what matters, America's most reliable network. Right, Graham?
And then they have his dog like have a T-Mobile chew toy. And it's the T-Mobile T. And he's like eating T-Mobile.
When you compare, there's no comparison. Plain talk, strong signal, nothing better.
When you compare, there's no comparison. I mean, what the hell?
When you grow up out here, you learn to tell facts from fertilizer.
When you grow up around here, you learn to tell facts from fertilizer. What the are you saying? Your brother is like in Wedding Crashers. And what the are you saying?
I keep my boots clean by rolling with AT&T.
I keep my boots clean by rolling with AT&T. How do you not walk off set? The answer is money.
You know, the company that invented the telephone. AT&T's America's first network, and it's still the best. That's not me talking. That's the scoreboard. Just the fastest, most reliable network. Ain't that right, Graham? When you compare, there's no comparison.
Oh my God, the dog's name is Graham. Like Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, and also the founder of Bell System, which AT&T was the history of how AT&T and Bell System kind of like grew as segments of the same thing, and then one dissolved into the other, and one got broken up as a monopoly. It's not relevant here, although I have done a lot of research on that, strangely, despite never seeing an episode of the television show Landman.
Welcome to the oil business.
It kind of reminds me of like when Chick-fil-A says, we invented the chicken sandwich. And it's like, okay, that doesn't make a difference to me. I don't know that you did, but even if you did, who cares? I'm the inventor of the computer, and I now make extremely slow, terrible computers, but don't you want to go with the OG? I mean, why would you want to go with anything? It doesn't make any difference. Who cares? Like, I got to go with the first car. I gotta go with Ford because they perfected the assembly line. Like, who cares when I'm trying to buy something? So why would I care that AT&T invented the telephone? Like, I owe them some sort of, I have to pay them gratitude. Like, I owe them something so vital to my life. How could I possibly not go with AT&T? Because literally 150 years ago, someone invented the telephone. Why would that mean anything? Why would I give a shit? Well, there's more of the Billy Bob Thornton ones too. So they've done another campaign now with Billy Bob Thornton, and you would think that they would have figured out a way for them to not piss me off, but they haven't. This new one might have actually aired in 2026. Doesn't matter. These are successful ones. They did give him a hat though, and they did allow him to button his shirt all the way up, and his flannel is now correctly buttoned, and he's not wearing like this black t-shirt thing. He's now has a correctly buttoned flannel, but he's still in the middle of nowhere.
So I got this friend who said he used to be on T-Mobile, but their network kind of sucked. His words.
So I had this friend that used to be on T-Mobile, but he said their network kind of sucked. And then he turns to the camera and says, his words. As if I'm going to be offended that his friend that I don't know say that T-Mobile, a company I'm not invested in nor do I own, sucked. Like it's like, now my friend said that T-Mobile sucked, his words. Or is it that sucked is like a bad word to you if you live on a farm in the middle of nowhere? But then he goes on to say,
a lot of things used to suck. Like cell phones the size of frozen lasagnas.
Then he says a lot of things used to suck, and so I don't think it's that. I think it's that it's not that the word sucked is a curse word because he just used it. He should be apologizing to me for using that curse word, but he's not. So what I'm assuming is when he says his words, what he's saying there is, my friend thought T-Mobile was bad. That was his opinion. I'm here to tell you I don't believe that. I'm actually really embarrassed that I'm telling you the story that anyone on God's green earth or God's dead yellow fielded earth would believe that T-Mobile sucked. That's not me. You know that's not me. You know I'm Billy Bob Thornton. I would never say that. His words.
His words. A lot of things used to suck. Like cell phones the size of frozen lasagnas.
What? What are you talking about? There's no way to say lasagna in like a country put on fake accent that sounds natural. It's like an Italian dish. Lasagna. You ever had a frozen lasagna? There's not a good way to say that. It's not the same as tumbleweed. Now I can say tumbleweed. Or you could say barbecue. Barbecue. You can't say lasagna. Lasagna.
But things change. Now T-Mobile has the best network by like a lot.
I hate it. I hate the face he makes right here. I hate it so much. I'm just done. Hey, if you wanted some interesting insider commentary at this far end, I'm done. I hate the face he makes so much right here. And then with this little grin he gives, he's so overexposed and he gives this little nod.
But I'm just another guy in an ad saying the same thing, only first and true.
Wow, that is a reference to the Luke Wilson ad. They're going back and forth. They're like fighting. And that type of competition in capitalism, where there's two companies that believe they have better products and they're attacking each other, that tells me one thing. T-Mobile and AT&T, one is about to acquire the other. There's about to be a merger. There's no way that this type of thing would exist today.
But I'm just another guy in an ad saying the same thing, only first and true.
Only first, Luke. I'm just some guy on an ad. Don't listen to me except for do.
Check out T-Mobile and experience what it means to have America's best network. Hey, dude, you won't believe where I am.
Anyway, so yeah, I think I've made the case for why this is the worst commercial, and it seems as though they are in a war now, a battle with each other. Who will win? Who knows? But it's just horrible to watch, and I'd like to believe that it wasn't working, but all the evidence points to the fact that this type of pandering, condescension, just thinking this little of their target audience in this case, is paying off in droves, and that's why it's number one. It's because it's apparently effective and provably effective to the point that now we are making a response to a response to a response. It's just, I hate it.
By like a lot.
There you go. There you have it, my worst commercials of 2025. I hope you enjoyed this and hated these commercials as much as you did in 2024. And if we make it, maybe we'll do another one of these for 2026. As always, thank you for your support and take care, everyone.